Hello. It is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3. We are live on the True Hill Heat YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter for our AEW New Japan Pro Wrestling Forbidden Door Roundtable review. We are here to discuss the what many are calling online across YouTube as one of the shows of the year from the United Center in Chicago, Illinois. I am here with a cast of the best that True Hill Heat has to offer and gutting it out even on late notice. First up, we have the man that was there live in Chicago, Illinois. He is the Stat King.
What's going on, guys? As you can hear, my voice is still shot from last night, but I'm glad to be here to talk about everything that happened during Forbidden Door. It was a great show. Can't wait to get through it or to it. Also
We
through it.
also we also have with us the man that was here with us live on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel to discuss the show. He is the master of ceremonies when it comes to New Japan Pro Wrestling, and he is a big fan of AEW as well. He is Jay News.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the only one here with all the energy in God's green earth because I got sleep and no one else on this stream did. So, without any further ado, we're going to review this Forbidden Door and get it underway. Fantastic show last night. Fantastic show.
Absolutely, and we appreciate everyone who is joining us during this live stream. Sound off in the comments. Let us know what you thought about AEW, NJPW, Forbidden Door. What was your match of the night? MVP, LVP. Of course, you will hear from us at the end of the show where we will discuss what was our favorite match of the night. But we want to hear from all of you in the live chat. Your super chat donations are always appreciated. It helps us out so much, helps the channel grow, helps the contributors of the channel. So that's the best way to have your comment highlighted on screen. We got CM in the live chat with us saying J News hung tight until the end. Yes, he did. We also got CM who says the show was good. I really think it laid a solid foundation. But let me ask you, Stat King, since you were there live, what was your thoughts on the live experience overall, and what did you think about the crowd, which I think was spectacular on this show? You were loud as hell when you needed to. You knew the people that some people would be like, oh, they knew who this was, and I think it did a good job. But what was your live experience being there?
Yeah, I've been to many an AEW show before. As you guys know, Chicago gets everything. But this was a really good crowd. It was, like you said, a lot of people who knew the names, knew the faces, and how to react for the people they were supposed to react for. There was a decided uh, New Japan slant, particularly during the buy-in, because a lot of it was heels, AEW heels versus New Japan faces. But sometimes you a lot of times your experience can depend on who you are surrounded by, and for the most part, the section that I was in, we did not have any people who attempted to get into fights during the main event. So at least that didn't happen. But yeah, it was a very good experience from a live perspective. Before the buy-in, Justin Roberts was out there and he was asking people, how far away they had traveled from to see Forbidden Door. And we had multiple people from other countries. And I don't just mean like, say, Mexico or Canada. There were people who had flown over from Finland just to be here for Forbidden Door and made sure they got tickets, and other countries across the pond. So it was a really great atmosphere. Everybody was kind of in it together. So yeah, just awesome experience live.
And watching it on the live stream with us here on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, what was your perspective watching the show, J News?
I usually watch all of the shows with audio. This is the first time that I had to mute the TV. So I was just going blow for blow and move for move or whatever the case is. And watching wrestling in silence is such a unique experience. But to say the least, understanding that the fans were being rabid and they were standing up and then sitting back down, all the clapping and then the pop reactions when the camera was moving and spanning the crowd and things of that nature, that stuff was pretty dope. It's To make a point, I think yesterday there was a few times, you know how Romeo gets during the stream or whatever the case is, where he kept on mentioning the word casual, casual, casual. And the reality of the situation is, folks, if you're watching an AEW and New Japan show, you're not a casual wrestling fan. You're just not.
Yes.
At the end of the day. This is not for the casual fan. It is for the mark. It is for the wrestling fan and everything else in between. And I just wanted to make sure to lay that out there because the wrestling fans showed up last night. There's more than enough of us to be able to put money in these guys' pockets and continue this sort of wrestling trajectory that we don't have to always rely on the sports entertainment set of whatever wrestling is. Not that there's anything wrong with it, because obviously that it still sells and still does its job. But there's room for pro wrestling and there's room for stuff like this. So this is why I think that was the importance of this show for me. Outside of the wins and losses didn't really matter. I thought that the showing of the New Japan guys and the AEW guys, what they were able to do in the ring, telling the stories in the ring and not so much on a microphone, was the importance of the night, and they showed out. So, amen.
Yeah, Romeo's just a little concerned because there's, as we've discussed, there's a big shakeup going on in WWE, and he's got to make sure he still gets his checks. So anything he can do to try to pull down AEW or any other product, he's got to do that there. So. Not surprised.
That was some nice shade. I gotta hand it to you. Nice shade. I didn't expect that right there. But J News, being the New Japan, as I said, the master of ceremonies for True Hill Heat here, as always, gotta ask you the New Japan perspective. We had Kyrian on during our True Hill Heat 181, which you could check out. Mm-hmm. That's on the homepage, is up here on demand. And we asked him what did he think about the build up and how they presented the New Japan talent, in the lead up to the show, which you got varying and polarizing opinions across the board when it comes to that. But what would you say, like overall, how New Japan was presented on this show?
On the pay-per-view itself, I thought it was done very, very well. Very well. Outside of all the promo work and previous shows and stuff like that, like you said, it was very hit or miss. But here on this show, showing us what New Japan is about from a wrestling perspective, they hit the nail on the head, to be honest with me. And that that's why I enjoyed the show. Nothing was watered down. We got strong style, right? We got some comedy bits here and there, or whatever the case is, so you knew what the characters were about. And on top of everything else, you got fantastic professional wrestling from damn near every single member of the New Japan roster. And yet people are like, well, I don't know who this guy is. And somebody give me some background. Foundation, folks. Foundation. This is only show number 1. Let it build. Let it simmer. AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling have one thing in common. That is long form storytelling. You just met the characters, understand what they're doing. Now we're on this fucking roller coaster ride to see as to what Gato and Tony Khan come up with. So,
yes, I will say overall for me, I'm looking forward to when all the characters and the players can be healthy and be on a show together. This was a nice sample size. I think CM put it best when she said it set a solid foundation, because we all know, if you've been following AEW or New Japan Pro Wrestling, that this is just the start, but it was a great start to what should be an even greater future for both companies working together. But without further ado, we're going to get into the show. Like I said before, we want to hear from you. What did you think about the show overall, match by match? Your match of the night, MVP, LVP, thumbs up, thumbs down, we'll get at the end of the show. So definitely stay with us for a wild ride that we're going to be on here. We got Kid Get Money in the live chat saying, True Heel family, what's good? What's going on, good brother? Thanks for coming. Love to see you here. Frantic World's back with us after spending the whole night with us in the live chat, saying what's up, SB3, J News, StatKing, and chat. We got EBB here with us, who says loved the show last night. It finished at 4:45 a.m. here in England. Yes, I know. And could not go to sleep for a few hours. Was full of adrenaline. Loved it. Wrestling is better than the things you like. Yes, there was a couple of times throughout this show where I was just like, wrestling is better than the things you like, and we'll
for sure.
get to that. But we got to talk about very quickly about the buy-in, which was a longer buy-in than usual. Like I think the last show that we had with AEW, they just had one buy-in match. That was the Hookhausen versus Tony Nese and Smart Mark Sterling. This show had 4 buy-in matches. They just loaded up everything on this buy-in. First, we had a nice little AEW mid-card heels versus New Japan Pro Wrestling mid-card baby faces, as it was the Factory's QT Marshall and Aaron Solo versus Chaos's Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi. I will say I was stunned with first of all, QT and Aaron Solo working well with each other. Nice little double team kick into the Diamond Cutter for a 2 count. You had QT Marshall bust out a damn 450 splash in this one. Solo couldn't hit his top rope double foot stomp, allowing the tag back to Goto. We got a super kick into the fireman's carry backbreaker by Goto and Yoshihashi, and then they followed up with the GTR powerbomb combination for the win in just under 9 minutes. I thought that this was an energetic way to go with the opener here, and I thought the crowd really responded to Goto very well. For all the people that were like, oh, Goto, he can't win against Tanahashi because the fans are not going to know him. These fans were very intelligent, very new about the New Japan players, and responded to the Chaos team very well. I gave this opener 2 3/4 stars. StatKing, what was your live perspective watching this one?
I'd probably go 2.5, 2 3/4. The only thing I didn't like about this match was that we didn't get the full Goto theme song. I wanted the whole the choir intro and everything. I was anticipating. It's one of my favorite themes. I was getting ready, and then they just launched straight into it. I was like, damn it. But yeah, this was a great way to start the overall night and kind of set the tone of what we're going to be seeing. Just hard hitting, strong action. And Goto is somebody who can chop. So when he started laying into Solo and laying into QT Marshall, it was really great. A part of me seeing QT, because I see him a lot on Dark and Elevation, is absolutely convinced that he intentionally botches that over the top rope move just to get the boos. Because if he is doing it, it's absolutely genius, because it's gonna get boos every single time. But he trains people. There's no way he doesn't know how to do the move. And if he didn't know how to do the move, he wouldn't do the move. So obviously he's got to be doing it to annoy people. And it works, because I was pissed off at him. And then I had to think about it. I was like, no, he's doing it on purpose, his asshole. But yeah, this was a really good match. Yoshihashi got more of a reaction kind of than I thought he would, to your point about some people not knowing who some people would be. I thought maybe Yoshihashi wouldn't get that big of a response, but he did. So yeah, great match, solid starter, 2.5 stars.
What about you, J News?
I completely missed this match. When I started the buy-in, it was 7 p.m. and this wasn't on. So I don't know what happened. Listen, man, BR Live was acting up yesterday. You could see it during the live stream. I was pissed off a couple of times, and it wasn't because I was watching something that was bad. My stream went out, and I was like, "This is ridiculous," So the only matches I got in the buy-in were the Lance Archer match, the Keith Lee and Swerve match, I believe, and that's all I remember seeing in the buy-in.
Yeah, I think it was the Wrestling Gods, because I know you're a fan of Goto's theme song as well, so they probably wanted to save you from missing that choir bit as well. So.
Yeah,
all that. Oh my god.
It's beautiful, beautiful stuff. But yes, the next match on the buy-in was that Hoss battle, and another AEW versus AEW match on this card. Outside of the women, you had Lance Archer versus Nick Camarado. It felt like during the Invasion, when they told you Stone Cold and Kurt Angle were a part of the alliance. That's how it kind of felt with Lance Archer, that they were trying to make it seem like he's a New Japan guy, especially because he's going over for the G1. But this was a nice little quick, little Hoss battle. It went just over 6 minutes. Camarado got to look pretty good with a collection of forearms, but that just woke up Archer. He hit the rope walk moonsault for 2. Then Camarado went for a power slam for 2 of his own, and then Archer finally hit the blackout to get the victory here. I gave this match 2 stars. It was decent enough. What about you, J News?
Yeah, 2 stars was enough. I didn't feel like Camarado got enough in, to be honest. It was just another one of those matches that the Murder Hawk Monster railroaded, which I feel like he shouldn't have, because like you said, it was supposed to be a house battle, so I didn't really get much out of it. I mean, I'm a fan of Lance Archer for his level of athleticism at his height and his weight and things of that nature, and the intensity that he brings to the ring. But like, I felt like this should have been kind of a different style match, and it was just more of a regular freaking squash, which was whack. But whatever.
That is fair. That is fair. What about you, StatKing?
I'm actually a fan of how fast Archer ran through Camarado, if I'm being honest with you, only because the way I looked at it was there's a lot of New Japan fans in Japan that are going to be watching this, and it's just a way of heating him up for the G1.
Sure.
So it's a way of just reminding them, because they don't see Lance Archer that often anymore. It's just a way of reminding them, like, Lance can take the fight to some people. And I mean, it's a great visual whenever. I'm not that big of a fan of the move, but it's a great visual whenever he hits blackout on anybody. Mm-hmm. And him being able to get Camarado up for that was a really great, like, just visual moment. But yeah, I thought the match, like, just it did what it was supposed to do, especially because we didn't know we were going to get it. Yeah. It was just randomly, like, all of a sudden, oh shit, Nick Camarado's going to be facing Lance Archer. So yeah, 2 stars works for me. I thought it just did a pretty good job of just being like, hey, don't forget, this guy's going to be trying to kill your favorites in a few moments.
And he's in the what they're calling the big boy block of the G1. So it was a nice little it's got him, Jonah, Balak Fale. Yeah, a lot of
the guys dudes. The guys, you need to see if he can get them up for blackout. So yeah, it works with Camarado. Gotcha.
Absolutely. Now, this is what I call the show stealer of the buy-in here, as it was Swerve in Our Glory, Swerve Strickland and Keith Lee versus El Desperado and Yoshinobu Kanemaru of Suzuki-gun. The fans sing to Keith Lee. He starts with Kanemaru, who doesn't like said singing. He attacks the knee of Keith Lee, which became one of the stories of the matchup. Nice little exchanges between El Desperado and Swerve Strickland, especially. And that led to a hot ending to this match finishing sequence. Kanemaru loaded up the whiskey and gave the Sapporo surprise to Keith Lee for a roll up for a 2 count. Ensuing, then we got Swerve. He super kicked El Desperado, who had his legs hung up on the bottom rope, and delivered a double stomp to the floor on Despy. And that in the ring, the Big Bang Catastrophe by Keith Lee on Kanemaru got the victory for Swerve in Our Glory. This was a really good matchup, probably my favorite of the buy-in, one of my favorites of the night. I gave it 3.5 stars. Post-match, we got Team Taz, who popped up in a skybox to make basketball references, saying that if Swerve and Lee are Shaq and Kobe, then they are Jordan and Pippen. And Ricky Starks, as always, is a gem on the mic. But what did you think about the matchup here, StatKing?
So this one I actually didn't see all the way through because we were getting close to the end of the buy-in, and I was like, this is the moment to go get food. So I left because I was like, everybody wants to see this. This is when, you're going to be able to go and get some stuff real quick. From what I did see, though, this was a really good match that kind of continued the story of Shane and Keith Lee not always being on the same page. After what happened in the Battle Royale, there was that moment where Shane was coming in for the elbow, and I think it was Despy got out of the way. And no, not the elbow. He was going for a kick, and Despy's going out of the way, and Keith Lee takes it in the knee, and that's where the knee story of the match started. Yeah. But this was a really solid performance from what I saw of everybody involved. And, Ricky Starks, you can't talk about Jordan and Pippen in the United Center. Come on, guy. That's I mean, it's classic heel work. But, I don't know if I can give a star rating for this one because I did leave like kind of halfway through. But what I did see was really good.
What about you, J News?
Listen, man, I would say that this was this is the match in the buy-in that I was looking forward to because I know what's going on, but I haven't been watching it, right? With Keith Lee and Shane Strickland and stuff like that, or whatever the case is. This is my own personal thing. Like every time they take a shot, the camera shot is on Shane Strickland's back, and you see all those scars. It's like I know where he got every single one of those scars.
Watching that Lucha Underground.
Up there, I'm always reminded about that stuff. And so to see him still pulling off the spots that he does during matches, like when Despy was hung up on the ropes with his feet caught on the bottom rope, and then him doing that double stop, I was like, "That's fucking insane, dude! Why would you do that?" But that's what wrestling is about, or part of it is about, or whatever the case is, getting those high spots and the thrill rides for the fans and stuff like that. Keith Lee looking like Keith Lee can look out in that ring, man. I don't ever get disappointed when he's into a match, right? Because at the end of the day, there are some times where like they give him the wrong person in the ring and the exchanges aren't necessarily great. It's not fluid, right? If Keith Lee can't flow in the ring, that shit just doesn't look right or whatever. And Despy is Despy. During the live stream, people kept on, or I guess it was just Romeo. I don't know, but
yeah, be honest. Don't say people when it's Romeo.
I guess it was
just Romeo.
It was like, oh, who's this Desperado guy? Da, 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 da. It was like, look, if you're a New Japan fan, Desperado is much loved, highly respected. You have to understand he is one of the best wrestlers on the planet. The emotion he's able to take from fans in matches is from a masked wrestler, one of the best I've ever seen in my life. So it was cool to see what he was doing. The heel master doing the heel master work, the Satori special, going for the knee, doing all the double team moves without any fault of execution at all. That I was worried about because there's just certain parts of matches when I watch Swerve matches where it'll be Swerve in his flow and then the other wrestler in their flow, and it's like, oh, it just doesn't match. But they were able to, they connected well in the ring. I give the match 3 stars just because it was a good foundation for the buy-in show, and I knew I wasn't going to be looking forward to the next match. So I was like, yeah, this was my match tonight. So that's what it was. You want to
see your boys, your LA Dojo boys? Come on.
Listen, man. The reason as to why I wasn't looking forward to the next match was because of who they were facing from AEW. I am not a fan of the young men, the Gun Club. Right, I'm not going to call them the other name because they don't like that, so I'm going to call them the Gun Club.
Hey, they're the ass boys. They're the ass boys.
Is it because they're geographically challenged? I'm not like.
I'm not understanding this. Where's the dilemma here? They are geographically challenged, though.
It is what it is. But I can always get behind Max Caster and Anthony Bowen, but obviously Bowen being hurt, Mr. Ass himself was a part of the match. It was whatever. But it is what it is.
Don't worry, we're about to talk about it.
Yes, don't worry. We were just about to get into that one as the final match of the buy-in. The main event of the buy-in, as they were saying, was what was supposed to be an 8-man tag of the Gun Club and Max Caster and the Ass Boys versus the New Japan LA Dojo Boys of the DKC, Kevin Knight, Alex Coughlin, and Yua Uemura. We got the rap at the beginning, which I noted that Max Caster did say that they spend all their time in the dojo watching hentai and washing Shibata's balls. So love Max Caster always. But before we got into the matchup after the Acclaim's entrance, Danhausen got on the screen and he had a customized entrance and theme song for the Gun Club with Billy S and the Ass Boys, and that sent Austin and Colton chasing after him, leaving Billy and Caster to get beat up by the LA Dojo Boys. Coughlin got to clean some house, but Caster took a lot of the heat here until he was able to make a hot tag to Billy. Billy came in running wild, Fame Master, and then he set up for the mic drop for the victory in just about 5.5 minutes. And Austin and Colton were never seen again. They are still running after Danhausen somewhere. This was a kind of.
They think they're in Tokyo, so they're running to Tokyo.
That's probably true. they're running after a ghost, as they said on commentary. I think it was Kevin Kelly. But yes, this was kind of awkward because it was like, you know, you want to make the LA Dojo boys look somewhat decent, and they lost a two on 4 handicap match. Did not make them look good at all, but it made Caster and Gunn look good. So I guess that was the point. I gave this 2 stars.
Nah. I'm gonna interject here completely. No fucking way. Listen, and I honestly don't like cursing as often as I have in the last 24 hours. But Romeo asked me during the show, and even Top Guy JJ asked me, which one of who's your favorite LA Dojo guy? And I said Yu Uemura. That dude's a fucking star, right? Yeah. And they didn't give Yuya no burn. They talked about his hair. They was like, "Oh, that hair looks fantastic," and it was like, "The hair is not what makes the wrestler." Here, I was like, "This is ridiculous." I've been watching young Mr. Knight for the last couple of years outside of the dojo as well. The dude has crazy hops. His drop kick is beautiful and is up there like 6 feet in the air. It's straight standing. They didn't get to show much or whatever. It was just. I didn't even I don't know. It fell flat for me completely. And I felt bad for the LA Dojo boys just because this is and I know they've StatKing, you can tell me better than anybody else. I know they've had their bouts on Dark and stuff like that here and there. So I'm not too sure how they're coming off to the AEW crowd outside of this particular show. So it was a little bit, it was just disappointing to see how it turned out. Because I know, you know, the Gun Club boys are more of a comedy act and stuff like that. And, you know, Max Caster with the raps and stuff or whatever. But it's like, if the job was to make the LA Dojo boys look good, they failed. If the job was to make Max Caster and Billy Gunn look good, which I think is unnecessary for this show specifically.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. And not for me, man. Not for me.
StatKing, anything to add there?
I love how angry he is about this. I mean, listen. I mean, Billy Gunn's he's badass. What more can you ask for?
He's a fucking legend. We've been watching him for 30 years, man. We know what Billy Gunn is. We know who he is.
Yeah, no, it's kind of funny because I think DKC and Kevin Knight were booked on the Warrior show that was happening across the street just before Forbidden Door, and they had to get pulled so that they could be in this match. And while this was happening, I was like, I mean, you could have just made this a 2 on, you know, whatever. And I mean, like, the whole point really is, you know who looks the best out of all of this? It's Danhausen. Danhausen showed he can get under the skin of anybody with just a little bit of his internet magic. Like that's all he needs to do. A little editing, that's all he needs. But this was I agree with you completely. If the goal was to get over the LA Dojo guys, they did not do that great of a job.
They failed.
He's like, they fucking failed.
But you know, it was for the end of the buy-in, it was an all right match. It was all right. Don't be too upset.
It was just a buy-in match at the end of the day.
It doesn't matter. You had just gotten off of Keith Lee and Swerve versus Despy and the heel master, and then you give us this. This was crap. This was crap. I don't understand, son.
That is fair. In comparison, yes, it was.
That's true.
Where was Carl Fredericks? Where was Ren Narita? I didn't need DKC. I was like, come on, man.
It's like, what are you doing to me? What are you doing to me? Want to highlight a couple of comments here. We got Alan Weinstein. He says, "What's up, y'all? SP3J News and StatKing. Hope all is well. True Hill Heat fam. What's up?" We got Frantic World, who says the buy-in matches was good. That Lance Archer match came out of nowhere, but it was okay. He also says the Swerve in Our Glory versus Suzuki Gun tag match was good. EBB says this match was the perfect pre-show match, knee work comedy EBB, fantastic spots, had it all. That drop kick into the double stomp by Desperado was fantastic. And he also sends us a super chat donation, which we always appreciate those. Thank you so much, EBB, who says Billy Gunn being treated like he's Brock Lesnar every time he's in the ring always cracks me up. Kevin Knight of LA Dojo has a beautiful drop kick too. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. But yes, I do love, like, in AEW and New Japan, they always treat Billy Gunn like he's this monster babyface or heel. Whatever role he plays, they play up to it very much so.
It's kind of funny because it seems like it was similar to a New Japan match. I'm not trying to piss you off, Janus, but it seems kind of similar to a New Japan match where one of the dojo kids calls out one of the murder grandpas and gets his ass handed to him. No pun intended. And four of them called out Billy Gunn, one of the, I guess, AEW murder grandpas, and his young lion, and they got their asses handed to him. It's the same thing.
It's not the same thing. It's not the same. How dare you? How dare you?
It's the same.
He's like blasphemy. I swear, sir, that is blasphemy to me. I don't want to hear this nonsense.
Where is Gino Gambino? How dare you?
How dare you, Kevin? How dare he? But that was the buy-in. Thank you so much for that super chat donation once again, EBB. We definitely appreciate those. Connor Smith saying StatKing looking fresh. He's looking fresh with that voice. We also got Then It's Gone, who says, as good as they are in comedy, I'd like to see how the Ass Boys would do in something more serious, mainly Austin. Sure.
We might get that in the future sometime down the road.
Yeah, maybe down the road. But then that led into the main card, and when I say this card had banger after banger,
oh my god,
it had banger after banger, and such a good time from the start. And that began with trios action, as it was Team Jericho, Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara, and the Murder Grandpa himself, Minoru Suzuki, versus Team Eddie Kingston, Wheeler Yuta, and Shota Umino. And we got everything you would probably want from this. The match started off with Wheeler Yuta hitting 6 rolling German suplex and the Chicago crowd going crazy. We got the Wheeler Yuta to look pretty good here. Jericho was his usual heel stuff. Sammy Guevara with a crazy shooting star press off the top rope to the floor at one point. One of my favorite spots was Minoru Suzuki and Eddie Kingston going at it with a chop battle, and Suzuki laying out and sending Kingston to the shadow room with a huge forearm. But the star of this match was the guy that no one probably knew during that whole melee on Wednesday. Shota fucking Umino was the star of this match. His comeback was amazing. His back and forth with Jericho were really well, putting on the walls of Jericho on Jericho himself. This man no-sold Floyd the Bat that always gives Jericho to win. This man basically no-sold it, started coming back after a missed Judas Suspect. He hit a tornado DDT into a brain buster. Jericho had to be saved from the walls by Suzuki, who delivered the God style power driver to Kingston, and then the Judas effect to Umino gave the victory to Team Jericho, as they have the advantage now heading into Blood and Guts on Wednesday. This match is probably the match that exceeded my expectations the most. This was so much fun, such a good way to start off the show. It was a great matchup. I gave it 4 stars. This was a really hot way to kick off the show. What did you think, J News?
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I felt completely the opposite, to be honest. I thought the match was a little bit too messy and too sloppy.
Jim Cornette has entered the live stream,
right? And to piggyback off of something you said, Sid, I agree. Shota Umino, my main man, the top shotter, he showed up and he did his thing, right? Listen, I can't say enough about that kid. He's a future star in New Japan Pro Wrestling. People need to take notice. He's out there and he did the damn thing. Big props to the one and only Wheeler Yuta for doing what he does best, and that's wrestle. At the end of the day, trying to be a professional in that match didn't suit the professional wrestlers. It just didn't seem that way. Eddie's, I mean, he is the Mad King, bro. That is exactly who he is. He is the Mad King. Everything was like, nothing made sense to me at the end of the day. It was all a rushed jumble at the end of the day. I can't, like, this is my own personal bias. I'll say this in front of it. I can't watch Jericho in matches anymore. I don't know why. It just it annoys me to watch him in matches. It just started recently for me, and I was like, Jericho's in a match. I don't want to watch this. You know what I'm saying? It's not for me.
Well,
you
damn.
know? that's where I'm at in life right now. Murder Grandpa Suzuki. You know, he's the king of wrestling at the end of the day. He did his thing. But yeah, I just felt like the match was super sloppy for whatever reason. And Sammy Guevara, can I just say this about Sammy Guevara, ladies and gentlemen? Sammy Guevara is probably, to me, I'm not saying anything bad about the man. I don't know him. I'm just saying the wrestler, the presentation.
Okay, here we go.
The love comes before the hate.
Right.
I know. You gotta lay that out. Gotta lay it on strong.
The presentation. He is probably, to me, the most insignificant member of that Jericho Association group. And I said this I also said this during.
There's a member of Jericho Appreciation Society who doesn't even talk. Actually, there's two.
Listen. To me, him joining the JAS or whatever, I would forget what the acronym is.
Yeah, it's the JAS.
Yeah,
you called them the Jericho Association. He's like, I don't even want to get the name right.
It's not deserving of it. Yeah, man, it falls flat, son. This whole Tay Conti thing. Now she's a valet. Like, I actually liked her in-ring work, to be honest. She got so much better over the last year and a half and stuff. And I was like, now she's just his side. Like, she's just the arm piece. Like, this is whack. Or whatever. So I don't know. The presentation just lacks to me in that instance. Jericho takes me out of matches. That was going to be my point, which is why I didn't enjoy this. And I was like, Jericho, this fake freaking hair. Someone tell the man to get rid of those fucking plugs. This shit is embarrassing. So, anyways, the top shots, he did his thing. Big ups to them. The New Japan guys, they got the shine in this match. I gave them that in this match. Everything else was a freaking mess. Sorry, StatKing. Go ahead.
Damn. Just ripped them apart. Why don't you?
I gave this match 3.5 stars. Whenever you get an opportunity to, I see what you're saying about Jericho, but whenever you get the opportunity to have Minoru Suzuki and Eddie Kingston in the same match, it's gonna be good. Yeah. And I gotta say, Eddie is one of hands down the most over guys in this company. Like,
you heard that from the crowd response.
Yeah, it's insane. And I got a good pop out of the people around me because when Shota got hit with the bat, I yelled out, "Moxley hits him harder for not taking out the trash." So that was a nice moment for me. But to speak to people not necessarily knowing who people were, Shota actually got the first "who the fuck is this guy" response. Right. Yeah. Because some people behind us, speaking what you're saying about they were talking about Yuya's hair. Some people were like, "Who is this like cheap knockoff Tanahashi?" That's what
he does look like a young Tanahashi.
Yeah.
Yes, he does.
But this match did a good job of selling what it bookended. It helped bookend what would be the bookend of the pay-per-view, which was to talk about blood and guts and to help promote blood and guts with how this was the get the man advantage. And Sammy, when he hits I don't know if they showed it on the live broadcast, but when he hit that TKO on Wheeler Yuta got knocked the fuck out. Yeah. He just laid there dead to the world. It was so great. He was selling that perfectly. But this match had some nice back and forth action. Those chops from Suzuki and Kingston when they got into that chop war. Like they were just making salads everywhere, chop salads everywhere. It was ridiculous. They were just trying to kill each other. And that's one of the great things about Eddie Kingston as a character. It's like he doesn't really need a reason to fight people, but when he does have a reason to fight people, it's even better. And I gotta say, we kind of had a feeling that Jericho was gonna win, and we kind of knew that if he's gonna win, Shooter's gonna take that pin. But they did a great job of explaining that Shooter, while he is going to take this pin, there's a reason why, like within the match itself. And that's something that you got to make sure that you do. So I think the choices that they made during the match were good, but overall, I loved this match. It was really great.
I'll say this because you were live in person, StatKing, so I'm not too sure if they put it on the Tron or not. But before the match started, they showed Chris Jericho basically paintbrushing and like duffing out Shooter as a young lion. And whatnot.
No, so we didn't get any of the backstage promos and things like that. So somebody was telling me, I think it was Chase, when I joined the live stream yesterday, he was saying that there was something with I think Jay White and Juice Robinson later in the night. We did not see that. Yeah, we didn't get that.
Oh wow.
Anything that was backstage, we did not get.
Yeah, they showed that video clip of Shooter as a young lion in basically trying to make sure the crowd was whatever, and then Jericho was pissed off, and then he paintbrushed him, and then he duffed him out, or whatever the case is. So that's where that's where this all stems from. 4 or 5 years ago,
right?
And stuff like that. So this is a deep-seated rivalry. Eventually, look, I know what Jericho does. Jericho's going to put the kid over eventually, which is going to be fantastic. But yeah, whatever. Whatever.
He's like, until then, whatever. He's like, I did not enjoy this. I'm a Jericho hater. I'm a Jericho hate society. Let's see what the chat thought about this matchup here. We got King Hugo Mundo, who says Umino and Jericho go way back when Jericho beat his father and attacked Umino in front of his father and family, plus Jericho with that fireball. Yes, Jericho threw a fireball in Shooter's face later on in the night because he's a wizard.
Yeah,
because he's a wizard.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And I always forget that Shota is actually Red Shoes' kid, and I'm like, when they mentioned it, I was like, what? No. And I was like, you guys are like, and then there was like, oh shit, that is true. And I was like, that is true.
Because he's look, Red Shoes is an absentee father.
Yeah.
Moxley stepped up. Renee has to feed this kid from her cookbook. Sometimes he babysits for Nora. Like the things happen.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Yeah. You're name dropping the daughter and everything. You're just going full throttle into the gimmick. We got Kid Get Money who says talk your shit, J News. We got CM who says thank you, J News. Everybody enjoying your take on Chris Jericho. Poor Jericho. He just did his best.
All this hate towards Jericho,
yes,
just reinforces why we need the Jericho Appreciation Society.
For over 11 weeks, the leading force in sports entertainment.
Next
we had the IWGP World or Heavyweight Tag Team titles and ROH World Tag Team titles up for grabs. Winner take all. This one, the story of the match was really all about Dax Harwood. Early on in the matchup, he performed a elbow drop where it looked like he tore his shoulder. It had everybody worked. Everybody was worried about him because of this whole pay-per-view being snake bit. We thought it was another injury. Like, God damn it, another one. Great O'Khan and Jeff Cobb got to dominate a little bit after that. Cash Wheeler got some nice comeback spots until finally, taped up in all, Dax came back out. He made a nice little comeback on everyone. We got Roppongi Vice and FTR working together on a spike power driver later on in the matchup. Cobb came back with some power bombs. He got to show off his strength. Great O'Khan got to be a hero because he is one, ladies and gentlemen. Never forget it. Harwood and Romero traded roll-ups until an enziguri staggered Hardwood, but it didn't stagger him too much as FTR delivered the big rig on Romero for the win to become the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champions and retain the ROH World Tag Team titles. Serious relief when Dax Hardwood came out, but I thought that was a great job, a great sell job by him, and it gave you even more incentive and more investment into this matchup because you knew about all the injuries going in. So making a little fake injury spot here made you more invested in this match than I think we would have been otherwise. So I really enjoyed this matchup as well, and I also gave it 4 stars. Great action from all guys involved, and I thought that this was the right winner, of course, with FTR now AAA Tag Team Champions, IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, ROH World Tag Team titles, and it sets up the big match, FTR versus Young Bucks 3 for all the gold at All Out. StatKing, what did you think?
I gave this match 3 3/4. The only reason why I can't give this 4 stars is the obvious ref botch. when it came to
yes, on the 3 count. Yeah, when he counted 3 and yelled out 2, he yelled out 1 on the 2 count.
Yeah, it was. We were just like, wait a minute, what the fuck? And of course, he got his "you fucked up" chance, which he should. Which I mean, actually, it's not even his fault, really. It's the guy's supposed to kick out, and you're supposed to treat it, but you're supposed to treat it like it's a real thing. So the real champions are Roppongi Vice, but for the record books say that's FTR. But this match was wow. This was really incredible. We want to talk about how they had a difficult task of making sure that New Japan people got shine. This is a way to do it. Like running this injury angle, it removes Dax from the match, and it allows more focus to be on United Empire. Like we all kind of had the feeling that United Empire and Roppongi were losing this match, but that still, like just because the ending doesn't mean you don't want to go through the journey. Mm-hmm. And the journey that they took us on was United Empire trying to take advantage of the fact that FTR was down a member and put the hurt on Roppongi Vice to make sure that they could come away with this win. This was a really well done story. My reception on my phone wasn't that great because I messaged our chat, to tell Romeo, because I know he was doing the live stream that they'd carted, gotten Dax out of there, but we didn't see anybody throw up an X. And by the time that was still sending, he's coming back. So I was like, oh, never mind.
It's like, oh, never mind, guys.
But yeah,
that message.
I think this part of what helped the story of the match also was the match between Cash and Cobb on Rampage, because part of Cash's promo on Rampage was to note he is not a singles wrestler, but for a bulk of this match he was forced to be a singles wrestler, and at least if he wasn't going to try to win the match, avoid losing the match. And that's kind of what he had to do. So I thought it told a really great story. This, piggybacking off of what we had just seen with the first match, it just kept the momentum going. And, congrats. I don't know if they showed this on the broadcast, but if you're looking from the hard cam perspective, on the right-hand side, where the bulk of the crowd is for the floor seats, somebody had brought a giant, and I mean like this had to have been like 4 to 5 feet tall, giant 7 with FTR colors. And as soon as they won the match, they had that sign hoisted up, and Dax and Cash at one point were looking at it and pointing at it. So yeah, this is going to set up Bucks FTR 3. There's going to be 4 tag team championships on the line during that match. I'm really hoping FTR win that one. Just continuing the hot streak that they have been on this year, just revitalizing tag team wrestling and really cementing their status or their argument as to why they are the greatest tag team in the world.
What did you think of the match, J News?
The match picked up everything for me. I think this was the the fever pitch that I needed to be at throughout the rest of the show, because that first match was a complete another freaking mess and letdown for me. But these for me, being that I'm, obviously J News Japan, New Japan Pro Wrestling stuff, United Empire, Roppongi Vice in this match. It was what I thought it was going to be. I knew not knew, but I figured FTR would win this match. I just wondered how. And to StatKing's eloquent point, them creating that story, them having to have Cash be the singles wrestler in the match while Dax was out injured with that shoulder, it just got everybody to buy in, right? Because at that point we didn't know if they were going to win or not. Because at the end of the day, it's professional wrestling, and you should suspend your disbelief at the end of the day.
Indeed,
so that's what it is. And the spots, man, Jeff Cobb doing Jeff Cobb shit. There's nothing like Jeff Cobb shit in a wrestling match. So I think people need to understand and realize that during the match, yet again, I got distracted because Romeo made me look at the Great O'Con's Instagram account.
Never listen to him when it comes to that. Going down Great O'Con's Instagram account, that's like going into Pandora's box,
dude.
So
the first picture I saw,
no pun intended.
Yeah. The first picture I saw, I was like, "What the fuck is going on here?" Like, he was in a jacuzzi. He had a girl. Oh man, I'm not even gonna say that shit again, man. That's crazy. I was like, does he have a girl sucking on his nipple in the jacuzzi?
Yes,
her name was Pandora, actually.
He was indeed in Pandora's box. Absolutely.
Man, I tell you, this is I don't even know what to say. But anyways, from the match perspective, very well put together. The story was fantastic. It had everybody locked in. Didn't necessarily know who was going to win, who was going to lose. Roppongi Vice went on one hell of an offensive run during the match, which I thought was like, wait a minute. Nah, they're not going to let them win. Can they? They didn't. But at the end of the day, I was like, all right.
He's like, they didn't. But
I was like, they're not going to put the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Title on Rocky Romero.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm there like, oh, okay, but it's. I'm just glad to see that Trent and Rocky still have good chemistry and they're able to put good bits together in a match. It was awesome to see. O'Con, I think, was probably the only one that I was not disappointed in, but I was like, I expect to see a little bit more out of O'Con, but I didn't get that. Like I said, Jeff Cobb always does his thing, and FTR, for all the money in the world, man, best tag team I've seen in the last 20 years. That's not even a joke. These guys, they're trying their hardest. They're putting tag team wrestling on their back, and they're trying to run with it. It's what they're trying to do. And I got to give them all the praise for that, because for a long period of time, tag team wrestling didn't mean shit. And they're just trying to make it mean something again. And I have wholesale appreciation for that. So for them to become the IWGP World Heavyweight Tag Team Champions at this point in time, hey, man, well-deserved at the end of the day. And I expect them to beat the Young Bucks sometime down the road for those AEW Tag Team Championships, and they can ride off into the sunset and call it a career if they want to at the end of that. So,
why not?
That's what it is.
We got a super chat donation here from Vala B, who says Jeff Cobb is the Duke of Yeaton. Yes, and he was doing some yeeting in this matchup. Yeah, I will say Jeff Cobb did look really good, and I like the fact that this is now twice. United Empire were the heavyweight tag team champions, and twice they lost their matches in 3 ways without getting pinned. Mm-hmm. So on their first defense as well, once again. And we also got Vala B with another super chat donation. Thank you so much, Vala B. We always appreciate those. Helps out the channel. No problem. Helps out the channel so much. He says, shout out to known Grap City fan, Cash Wheeler. Yes, Cash. Shouted out Will Washington during the post-show scrum, saying that he is a fan of Grap City. So love to see that. Love the love for the Grap City boys. I was over there on Saturday on Saturday's show due to Will being in Chicago or traveling to Chicago during the showtime. So I love seeing that praise for them. But that moves us on to the next. First, we had a backstage segment with Juice Robinson, the aforementioned, holding the IWGP United States Championship hostage. And he said him and Jay White talk about they don't think much of their competition, and Jay White promises to win his 4-way later tonight. And Juice Robinson says that the IWGP US Championship match on this show is just the number one contendership because he still has ownership of the title. Makes sense to me. I guess possession is 9/10 of the law, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Next we had our All Atlantic 4-way, the final, as it was Pac versus Miro versus Malachi Black versus Clark Connors. It was an all-out brawl to start, but really the central point of this matchup was Miro. Miro was dominant. Basically, Kadini, he never left the ring for like the first half of this matchup, barely got off his feet most of the time. Malachi Black came in with a nice little drop kick. Him and Black tried to work together, Miro and Black, but that didn't work out. Finally, everybody had to go against Miro after Black sets up a table at ringside. He tried to put Miro through it. Miro tried to put him through it. Everybody hit offense on Miro, ending with Clark Connors hitting a spear through the table. But Clark Connors, the guy who came into this match, another instincts with Shoto Umino in the opener, where the guy who everyone was least interested in became the most over guy in this match. He made a crazy comeback. Everybody was on his side. He hit the trophy kill on Pac for a great near fall. Miro came in and he looked like he was about to win with the game over on Pac until Black came in and used the miss to break it up. He then hit Black Mass on Miro. He went for a cross arm breaker on Connors, but Pac went to the top rope, hit a 450 on both Black and Connors, and then locked on the Brutalizer to win his first championship in AEW. Pac is the first ever AEW All Atlantic champion. I thought that this was all action, exactly what I expected from this matchup. Clark Connors exceeded my expectations for him going in. Another match that I'm very high on, and I actually rate this higher than the first two matches. I gave this 4.25 stars. This was a great 4-way, and I like Pac as the first choice for the All Atlantic Championship, as it might now be the workers title over the TNT title with all the nonsense going on in that division. But what did you think, J News?
I thought that this match originally with Tomohiro Ishii in it was going to be a blast. And then when I found out that Clark Connors is going to be in this match, I said to myself, New Japan has faith in this kid. There is something about this kid that they like. I said it before when he was just put into the qualifying matches in Japan. And then when he got added to this match, I said at the beginning of the match during the live stream, I was like, look out for this kid. Something's going to happen in this match. This kid's going to pop. He's going to stand out. People are going to be on his side. He was getting his ass beat for the first 10 minutes. He was selling his ass off, and he made everything look believable. I think I forget who during the live stream was telling me that he looks like a mini Hangman Page, and I was like, Hangman Page ain't that.
He does,
and I was like, he's not that rich, and he don't move like that. That high impact shit that Clark Connors does for a guy his size is very believable. And then when he went on that offensive run, I was like, this is the moment, and he sealed it. He knocked it out of the ballpark. The fans were behind him. I was like, he's not winning this match, but this is what this match was designed to do. Get him somewhat over. And that's what happened. Yeah. Pac being the champion here, Pac, whatever you want to call him, that boy Jordy, he got the gold at the end of the day. And that was the point here, because he's the only one who travels overseas, right? Out of everybody in the match, right? Clark Connors has his New Japan Strong stuff, and he's going to be in Japan for the most part, right? Miro doesn't go anywhere. He stays in Tennessee with his hot-ass wife, right? At the end of the day. And then there was Malachi. Malachi doesn't do much traveling outside of what he does with AEW anymore, or in the States and the Indies. Pac's the perfect guy to have this championship belt, and hopefully he does defend it, wherever he goes, be it Dragon Gate or Noah or whatever other in Germany in WXW, wherever he goes, he can defend it. If they can somewhat put some sort of a camera guy with him when he does these defenses, and they can post his matches up on YouTube via the All Elite Wrestling YouTube channel, that would be something different that AEW can do in order to make this belt stand out, right? And obviously give him matches here and there on Rampage and Dynamite when he is here, to have a foreign wrestler come and face off with him or whatever the case is. Because and this is me just fantasy booking or whatever the case is, but to make it AEW wrestlers versus Pac kind of defeats the purpose, because that's what the TNT title is there for, right? So it's like, bring the overseas guys over. It doesn't always have to be a Japanese wrestler. It could be whoever, but bring foreign acts over. Keep on having that revolving open door for the Forbidden Door, and then that way, you have that and create better networking, better relationships with the other independent wrestling companies from around the world, and just keep on giving the fans great pro wrestling. And this match, 4.25 stars, is a fantastic rating. SP3, I gave 4.25 stars myself, because I love any match that has Pac in it. Clark Connors did his thing. Malachi Black played up not only his character work, but his in-ring ability, which people don't talk enough about, I think. But when the Black Mist came into play, I was like, yes, this is how you get Miro out of this match. And I was like,
exactly. That was the only way to get Miro out.
Fantastic. And they planned it accordingly. Like a lot of the people in the chat were saying, the freaking finish was a chef's kiss, perfectly done. I can't say anything bad about this match at all, man. So fantastic way to go with this forward.
Yeah, this was a phenomenal match. I gave this one 4 stars. It was my first 4 of the night. They tore the house down with this one. Every single guy was over. Clark Connors was over from the moment he walked out. And this, I mean, I don't know, maybe this is just me, but I feel as though this match was actually better than it would have been if Ishii had made it.
I can't disagree with you, Zack King. I can't disagree with
Clark. Because you wouldn't have the underdog like Clark Connors. Like, Ishii plays a great underdog, but he comes off like this monster because of his selling as like one of those video game bosses where he like gets stronger as you beat him down. But Clark Connors was able to get assaulted in the first half of this matchup, and then that comeback just got the crowd louder. Like, it was awesome.
And what was great about this was that Pac, because to your point about not having an underdog, if Ishii had been there, Pac also worked this match as a lot of an underdog, especially in the beginning. He's getting his ass handed to him. There's that moment where there was the anything you can do, I can do better between Malachi and Miro, and Pac's just getting his ass handed to him. This was such a great, well put together and well thought out match. And to me, and maybe this is just a hope and a dream, to me, this match cemented the end of Death Triangle versus House of Black. Hopefully. Because Malachi Black may want to try to get that. He may want to try to get that All Atlantic title, but you can't miss Miro, and Miro does nothing about it or says nothing about it. That's just not how the game works when you're going up against Mr. Game Over. So to me, this is if they do end that feud, it's a great kind of cutting moment for that Death Triangle House of Black feud. And now Miro is going to have to try to run through all 3 members, and we get a Miro Brody King match, which is just going to be phenomenal. And even losing somebody like Ishii for this match, you can still bring Ishii over to get that Miro Ishii, which is really what people were interested in. Right. You wanted to see Ishii, you wanted to see Miro face off. You can still do that without a problem. So this was just a well thought out match, well booked. It was the first match to really utilize the fact that there are things around the ring that we can use. Who leaves tables under a ring? Well, sometimes people do, and sometimes Miro has to go through one. But this was a solid work from everybody involved. And Clark Connors, my God, I don't think anybody can say that he did not take this opportunity and absolutely make it his own, because he was a star in this match, and every other person in the match is already solidified. And he, sometimes the question is, whether guys can rise to the occasion, whether they match up against the competition, whether they elevate their game based off of who they're in the ring with. And Clark Connors definitely did that, considering the pedigree and caliber of wrestlers that he was up there with. So this was a star-making moment for him, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely agree with both of y'all with everything you had to say. This was a nice way where it took things, like I said, the first two matches I rated both of them 4 stars. This took it up a level a lot. And then we got Then It's Gone, who agrees that ending to me was chef's kiss. We got EBB, who says Clark getting his ass beat for 10 minutes worked great to build the crowd support. Pac is the perfect choice. He can defend it all over the world, kind of like what Jay News was saying. We also got a super chat donation here from Bay Bay. Thank you so much for that. We always appreciate those. Saying, off topic question for SB3: is everyone related to Wrestle Talk moving to the UK? Tempest has moved now. Have you moved permanently? Is Denise next? No, I haven't moved permanently. I've just been here for an extended stay. I've been on excursion. Basically, I went to the Wrestle Talk office once. I'll try to get back there one more time before I eventually leave, but I am planning on leaving. I'm just here on excursion. I'm like Shoto Amino, basically. Shoto Amino spent longer than usual in the UK. I have to. So cheer for me like you do Shoto Amino. But thank you for that super chat donation, baby. We greatly appreciate that. But we had to move on to our next trios matchup on this card, which was supposed to be a 4-on-4 8-man tag of dudes with attitude, Sting, Darby Allin, and Los Ingobernables de Japón's Hiromu Takahashi and Shingo Takagi versus the Bullet Club, the Young Bucks reuniting with the BC against El Phantasmo and Hikuleo. Hiromu Takahashi had caught a fever and couldn't travel to America, so it then became a trios match with Shingo, Sting, and Darby versus the Young Bucks and El Phantasmo. Right from the beginning, Sting is a maniac. Sting is a maniac. What has Darby done to him? This man at 63 years old doing a dive off the entranceway like he's goddamn Batman. And then this match was just like I said, the opener of the show I thought was a better like wrestling match with different stuff going in and just made into, like Jay News said, it was a mess, but I think it was a glorious mess of everything that made into a great matchup. This was just pure and utter fun. The Young Bucks and El Phantasmo with their ridiculous flips into the back rakes were awesome. You had Shingo standing out with his hard-hitting style, Darby being a maniac with coffin drops, and then Sting. Just Sting. Like the Young Bucks went out there and said, we're in a match with Sting. We're going to make him feel like the Sting of old. That super kick, that Sting no sell, and then gave the clothesline to the Young Bucks. The crowd responded to that amazing. Him going at it with El Phantasmo with the nipple twist was great. And then in the end, it was Shingo Takagi who hit Last of the Dragon on El Phantasmo for the victory to give Los Ingobernables de Japón the win here. Love this matchup. This was just so much pure fun. I gave it 3 3/4 star, nearly a 4-star matchup, but this was just more lighthearted than the opener. But I had so much fun watching this one. Tony was having a good time. Sting went out there and just was an absolute beast, and he made both New Japan guys in the ELP and Shingo look good. StatKing, what did you think?
I like this match. Just Sting, like you said, 63 years old, man's just diving off the top of the fucking thing. Like, what is wrong with you? Oh man, and just this match had a little bit of everything. It had those comedy spots. You know, El Phantasmo is going to do something ridiculous every single time. That's just what he does. And the Bucks are people who are going to encourage him to do something ridiculous every single time. So I enjoyed the hell out of this match. Darby sold like a maniac for the times when he needed to sell, and Shingo. My God, Shingo just looked amazing in this because he brought that kind of, I mean, Sting, no selling things is amazing, but Shingo brought like this kind of heavyweight muscle to the team that was just unparalleled. And it's great because a lot of stuff that he did was with El Phantasmo, who he has worked with before in New Japan. So that was one of the challenges of this show, was matching up people with people that they could work well with. And in the case of Shingo, because he's worked with El Phantasmo, there's a level of normalcy that you feel about it. Because let's not forget, for some of these New Japan wrestlers, there's something jarring happening. Because for such a long time, especially if they've only been in Japan, they have not had any crowd reaction outside of clapping.
That is very
now
true.
They're getting a rabid crowd. It can be a little bit jarring. So, looking across the ring and going, oh, it's this idiot. Like there's something that you can, like just, what to do. You can kind of slip back into that kind of blanket of comfort, so to speak, and be like, I know how he's going to react if I hit him this way. This is what we can do. So it was a well booked from that perspective. And Sting no selling the super kick was really, really good. There was a funny moment where Phantasmo is selling that he's done something amazing, and Sting's behind him, but like he's not supposed to realize it, and then he's supposed to make the turn, and Sting completely forgot what he was supposed to do because he leaves the ring, and then Phantasmo turns around, and Phantasmo is just like whatever. And I guess
it's the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks told them. The Young Bucks were like, hey, you forgot the spot, and he comes back in and he yells at Fan like, hey, and then gives him the nipple twist. That was
amazing. That was hilarious. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed this one. It just was a nice, like kind of a cut from the seriousness of everything we had seen thus far. Even Jericho and that intro match, even though there was a level of mess to it. I mean, I do agree with News about that, but like it was presented as a serious matter between everybody involved.
Right.
And so you have serious, and now you just have something where it's like, all right, you know what, guys, we can laugh a little. Like we could have this moment with everybody. So that was really good. And Phantasmo with one of the best back rakes in the business. I mean, how do you compare?
No one can compare.
The build up to the back rakes from the Young Bucks themselves, those were so extra. I couldn't even believe all of that. They out there pulling out homages to Dusty Rhodes getting funky like a monkey, baby. And
Matt doing the dude love, like, oh man.
I was like, man, this
is
ridiculous.
because they were like, nah, we're not gonna let El Phantasmo do a better ridiculous back rake than we are.
It was I'll say this, man, it was a fun match. That's what the match was deemed to be. I think that Sting is going to go into a third iteration. We've been seeing Crow Sting since 1997. Now we're going to see Batman Sting, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it here first. Batman Sting will now be the new version of Sting going forward. So
seems legit to me.
Yeah,
complete with Robert Pattinson's style voiceovers.
Exactly. There you go.
AEW is a cesspool. I look around, I see filth that needs to be cleaned up.
Exactly, man. I think that
he's already got Robin.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah, he's got his Robin. Darby's the Robin. Got it. Man.
There you go.
This is a movie. We need someone to make the meme.
There you go. We booked it right there, folks. It was fun, man. It was a fun match. 3 3/4 stars for me, just because of the way that it started. Sting being the madman that he is. Darby attacking Hikuleo with the skateboard. Love to see it. Hikuleo needs to get the crap beat out of him at the end of the day. Look, that's my baby big brother, but that dude, man, listen, he just needs to learn, bro. That's all it is. He needs to learn.
He needs to learn. He needs to go back with his brothers.
Exactly. But at the end of the day, to StatKing and your point, SP3, Shingo, man, Shingo Takagi. I was asked during the live stream. I'll reiterate it here. Shingo Takagi still is the best IWGP World Heavyweight Champion that has been since the inception of that belt. There's a reason he is well respected. There is a reason the fans gave him the adulation that they did when he came out through that entrance tunnel. That dude's just one of the best in the world. And he was able to he soaked it in at first because I think, you know, to StatKing's point, I think it kind of rattled him a bit to hear all that crowd noise, but then he started to let it soak in, and it came in, and he was able to do his thing, and you know, he hit that finisher perfectly, wrapped that up with a bow, you know, put the fist out, gave everybody the fist bump, you know. I'll mention it here just because he is part of Los Ingobernables de Japón. Sad turn of events with this whole CMLL and AAA crap or whatever. Get your shit together over in Mexico, people. We need la facción ingobernable in all of professional wrestling. No Naito, son. Like, come on, bro. Like, we can't be doing this. We need to have it all together so the fans can enjoy it, man. That's all it's about. So
that's all it's for the fans. And yeah, it's disappointing that you get La Facción Ingobernables being brought to AEW on Friday, and then there's no follow-up on it on this show because of politics. Politicking. But yes, let's hear from the live chat here. Got a couple of comments that we can feature here. Keep those comments coming in the live chat. Like I said before, your super chat donation is the best way to have your comment highlighted on screen, and it helps out the channel so much. We got EBB who says the Sting Batman signal was perfect. Yes, the fact that they had the silhouette in the backdrop was great stuff. King Harinko Mundo, who says Sting is a madman. He certainly is. 63 years old, y'all. Frantic World says Sting is crazy, and indeed, he also says Sting must have the Fountain of Youth in his backyard. Something.
The Lazarus Pit. The Lazarus Pit Batman reference. The Lazarus Pit in his backyard. All right, get with it. Sting's the new Batman.
And we got Eric who says, sup guys, that show was sick. Indeed. We also got Vala B. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say two things I wanted to add. The first is that I was paying attention to commentary, and before this match starts, like, because I was trying to figure out like what's coming next and everything. I see Tony Schiavone come out, and I'm like, why would Tony Schiavone come out like when he could have come out earlier throughout the entire show? Maybe he had a 4-man booth or whatever. And then as soon as I realized what match it was, I was like, he's here just to say it's Sting. That's literally the reason why he's. And sure enough, after this match ended, he booked it the fuck out of there.
Exactly. That's all he was there for.
And the other thing is that an underrated kind of moment of this match, or the part of this match, is that this is kind of a comedy match. There was a lot of elements of comedy here.
Yeah.
And if we're gonna build towards Bucks versus FTR 3, what's FTR gonna be able to talk about? All the Bucks do is comedy matches. Just you gotta plant seeds where you can, and if that's where they're gonna go, this is a great thing to have in your back pocket.
Yeah, and it's gonna keep this win for Sting and Darby should set them up for a tag team championship match. They are undefeated as a tag team, and I feel like this is a nice way to give the Bucks a big time tag team championship match before we get to FTR at All Out, because you still got 2 months of wrestling to get through. You got Quake at the Rake, the Quake at the Lake, whatever it's called in August. Probably in July they'll do Fyter Fest. So you got these big shows that you got to do. So that's a big TV match that they can do. But we got Vala B who says, J News, preach, brother. People keep putting down Shingo, but Shingo is still my champ. Fucking carried the company in 2021. People need to put some respect in his name. Yes, you had Romeo trying to act like he's not Japanese. Yeah. Literally. And he forgot that it was on the main show. He was like, was that on the main show? Like, what? Like, how do you forget this match?
Romeo was trying to say Shingo Takagi isn't Japanese.
Yo, dude, there was the yesterday.
But his name is Shingo Takagi.
Listen. Yesterday was a shit fest. Romeo was trying to race bait at times. I was like, what's going on here? What is this? I was like, can we enjoy the show?
Ladies and gentlemen,
trying to piss me off during a New Japan show.
Ladies and gentlemen, the opinions of Romeo Anthony Colon do not represent the opinions of True Heel.
Exactly.
Tell him, StatKing. Tell him. Next we had the only AEW versus AEW match on the main card. Before that, we had the Jericho giving Amino the fireball spot that we talked about earlier. But after that, it was AEW Women's World Championship on the line as Toni Storm challenged the champion Thunder Rosa. Both ladies came out in some immaculate pay-per-view special gear. You had Toni Storm looking like a superhero coming out, getting ready. She looked both nervous and determined going into this matchup. Thunder Rosa always pay-per-view attire is elite, and this one was fabulous, looking like the Mexican queen that she is. I thought that this was a very well-worked match. Got some technical wrestling early on, and then we got the big moves later on in the matchup. Toni Storm hit a tornado DDT on the outside, hit that vicious hip attack into another tornado DDT in the ring for a 2 count. Thunder Rosa came right back, hit a nasty fire thunder driver, landing Toni Storm right on her goddamn head, and Toni Storm kicked out. So I think that was the way to kind of put over Toni, that she kicked out of Thunder Rosa's big move. So Thunder Rosa had to pull something out from her wrestling dad, Dustin Rhodes, and did the final reckoning, the twisting brain buster, to get the win to retain the AEW Women's World Championship. It was the shortest match on the night, but it packed in a lot of action. I gave it 3.5 stars. I think that this could have been a great match if it went a little bit longer, but for the amount of time that they got, these ladies went out there and had a hard-hitting bout that was physically intense. What did you think, J News?
Brother, this was strong style with women in the ring. This match was, I was expecting something else, and I got something else, and that something else that I got was even better than what I wanted at the end of the day. And it was shorter for a length of time that it was. Toni Storm, former Stardom champion, she wrestled in Japan, things of that nature. They paid respect to that style of wrestling in their match, which I think some people might have missed. And if they did, I'm here to inform you at the end of the day. Thunder Rosa, 2 pay-per-views in a row, fantastic matches. I understand the grief that people have been giving her via the internet and things of that nature. She's trying, guys. If she wasn't trying, if she wasn't trying, I give everybody, let them say whatever. But she's trying her ass off, and she's trying to make this title run mean something. And she was able to work well with Toni Storm. I think this is the first match I've seen where Toni, even though she looked nervous before the match started and stuff like that, this is the most fluid I've seen her in the ring since her coming to AEW. And it showed why Toni Storm is one of the best women's wrestlers in the world when she's right. And this match proved it, man. And it was dope to see. 3 3/4 stars for me. No matter, even though it had a short length, these ladies put on a physical ass clinic. I'm with one of the. I read something here in the chat. I'm with one of you guys. Every time she does that hip attack into the turnbuckle, it just looks bad for anybody.
It looks like she's hurting somebody. Like, seriously,
yeah, it does. It really does.
Yeah, man. So that's Thunder Rosa here retaining. I'm not too sure as to what other of the ladies is gonna get a shot at this point. But hey, let's see as to what they can do, and let's see what the story is gonna become. But good, great match nonetheless.
Yeah,
StatKing, what did you think?
I gave this one 3.5 stars. I was thinking to myself, and you hit it right in the head. This was a smart choice for who they put in the match, because we have to remember that there are going to be fans in Japan who are watching this show. They're going to be watching a New Japan World. And who do you put in this women's match to go against Thunder Rosa? Well, it's a face that they should recognize. She was in Stardom. She held their top championship for some time. So having her in this match lends an air of credibility for those who don't know Thunder Rosa, because they're like, okay, like she's their women's champion, but what else do I know about her? They might know her from Tokyo Joshi Pro, but Stardom is more a larger company, a larger brand in Japan. Right. So bringing 2 women who have pasts in Japan on this card was a great decision. Now, the match itself was really good. It was a lot more hard hitting than I anticipated it was going to be, to Sid's point of, this how it started out. And what I thought was a little unfortunate was, this is something this is a criticism of Tony, is that WWE knows that they need cool down matches, and WWE knows when to put cool down matches. Tony, on the other hand, and this is partially because he has such a large roster and he's trying to get everybody, who he can TV time and pay-per-view time, tends to stuff and overload his pay-per-view cards. And what's going to happen is that fans are going to pick and choose when's their cooldown match, and there's not really much that Tony can do to control that. Now, it just so happened that the match before this was a bit of a comedy match. Mm-hmm. So after having seriousness and then comedy, the crowd was able to just release some of that tension or some of that, like the energy level, and start to build up for the matches down the road. And because this happened to just follow a comedy match, to me, the beginning of the match, the crowd seemed kind of dead. The crowd did have a reduced energy level. Now, to the credit of the two women in the ring, they were able to get the crowd back. And that's something that is a hallmark of a veteran. When you see things happening or you hear things happening, how do you respond? And both of these women have been to the dance before numerous times. They know what to do. And when they slowly did that shift from just regular, not regular, but like from hard-hitting action into a lot more of just the big moves, that was able to bring the crowd back in. And overall, it was a good showing from both. Tony really takes nothing in this loss, to me at least. No. She's still going to be one of the top people or one of the top women in that women's division. And Thunder Rosa looks great as the champion, continuing that run and continuing, people were saying she's not getting a lot of TV time. She's not getting matches. This is a clear-cut example of Tony hearing that and responding accordingly, and putting the onus on Thunder Rosa to be like, look, if you're upset, I'm going to give you this time. You got to make the most of it, and make the most of it. She did. So 3.5 stars for me.
You guys did it. Explain this match very, very well. Gotta hand it to both gentlemen here with me. And we got a bunch of people who seem to like that match as well here in the live chat. We got a question here from John Elite that I think Tony Khan answered in the post-show scrum, where he says, if we get another Forbidden Door, does Stardom also get involved? And then it's gone actually answering that, saying TK tried to get some Stardom talent, but they had visa issues or were already booked because Stardom had a show this weekend as well. So hopefully we get for the next Forbidden Door, some Stardom people involved. But I think that like StatKing said, that they did a good job of placing Toni Storm in this position because of her background and success in Stardom. So yeah. We also got CM who says, I like this match. King says, I thought Toni Storm had the win. And yeah, Ace, I was surprised that Toni kicked out of the Fire Thunder Drive, especially that one. That looked wicked. Yeah, she landed directly on her dome. So I was like, oh, okay. All right. I thought they could have went maybe like 3 to 5 minutes more, and I think I would have probably said it was like 4 stars, because I thought what they gave us was really awesome, but it was too short to kind of get to that level. But maybe next we can see a rematch down the road, and I would love to see it. But if you thought that was good, you thought the rest of the card was good, this, my friends, was the one I told people stop sleeping. Stop sleeping on who I am calling the Wrestler of the Year, the IWGP United States Champion, Will Ospreay versus Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy always is basically discredited because of his gimmick, and I knew he was going to show out in this matchup. Both guys came out looking good. Will Ospreay with an immaculate robe on this occasion, and he came out with Aussie Open, but of course didn't have the IWGP United States Championship. Juice Robinson was in the press box watching this matchup. Cassidy starts off fast with his hands in his pockets, doing running shoulder blocks. You know he's serious. Ospreay knocked outside for a breather, so Cassidy mocks Ospreay. He was doing several mocks in slow motion of the Ospreay kind of Superman pose. That was great. Uh, uh, Even at one point when Ospreay did his Superman pose, Orange Cassidy slowly got down and gave him the thumbs up. Ospreay took control with the abdominal stretch and then put his hands in Cassidy's pocket and pulled out a middle finger. So they started off slow, but you knew they were going to build it up. And it was when Ospreay started connecting with the Kawada kicks. Cassidy powered up, put his hands in his pocket, and he started kicking. He started doing his own Kawada kicks, avoided an Os cutter, reversed a Michinoku driver into the stun dog millionaire for a 2 count. He then got a tornado DDT that sent Ospreay to the floor. Springboard flip dive. He took out Aussie open. He then set up for the top rope DDT, but he got caught. Then we get a double moonsault by Ospreay. Ospreay is fine enough to try a standing shooting star press that he hits, but then Cassidy gets his knees up on another top rope move. He then hits the beach break for a great near fall. He goes for the orange punch, but Ospreay gets him with a cutter. Then he hits the Os cutter for a 2 count. He misses the hidden blade. The Stormbreaker is reversed to a cool looking Dragon Rana for a 2 count by Orange. Then Orange Cassidy picks him up, but Ospreay blasts him with a clothesline, and then he hits the hidden blade for another great spectacular 2 count that the Chicago crowd was on their feet at this point. And then finally Ospreay picks him up, gives him the Stormbreaker for the 3 count. This was absolutely spectacular. This was exactly what I wanted from this matchup. I will talk about my rating for this matchup, but we got to talk about what I will give a 5-star post-match because we get the big beat down from Aussie Open on Orange Cassidy. Roppongi Vice comes down, Rocky Romero and Trent Beretta. They get taken out by the United Empire. They look to set up Orange Cassidy for a big triple team move, and then the music hits, and I said, holy shit, Shibata is here. Oh my God. The roof came off of the United Center as that music hit. He comes in, he beats up Aussie Open, gets into the ring, and goes face to face with Ospreay. We get a little bit of exchange between Ospreay and Shibata. Shibata hitting the big drop kick in the corner, gets the rear naked choke on Ospreay before Aussie Open pulls him out. And then even better than that, we get the face to face with with Orange and Shibata, with Orange Cassidy giving him the sunglasses and putting his hand on his shoulder and putting the thumbs up. This was fantastic all around. The matchup itself, I gave 4 3/4. This was just a great matchup. It was so well paced with how they build up the beginning of the matchup into the second half of this bout that just was nonstop action, great reversals, great counters, and then that post match was like the cherry on top. Ospreay killed it. Orange Cassidy proving the naysayers wrong once again. StatKing, what did you think?
Holy shit. This was amazing. This was an instant match of the night contender. Like after this happened, even before the post match, I was like, how? I mean, I got faith in Jay, but how are they going to top this? Like, how are they going to top this shit? This was incredible from the moment where Ospreay bangs his head on the corner camera to when Cassidy kicked out of the hidden blade, everybody thought that was the finish because hidden blade just kills people. It sent Ibushi to the hospital. Like
it sent Sonata to the hospital too.
It sent Sonata to the hospital, and the guy who doesn't try was able to kick out of a hidden blade. Absolutely incredible, phenomenal work from both guys involved. Ospreay really solidifying that argument that he is the wrestler of the year, that he is the best on the planet right now. And Cassidy showing that, if I want to, I can be right there with you. And that's something that was really, really important, because Cassidy does get shit on so much for just like not coming across as though he doesn't care. But that's the character.
Mm-hmm.
The character show is that he does not care about so many different things because he's just so unbothered. But when he's gonna try, he's gonna like it. When you have those moments don't mean anything unless you have the rest of the character work. They go hand in hand. And so this was a phenomenal match. And I mean, I get that a lot of people may be upset about, not getting the Andrade versus Ospreay match. But as much as I think Andrade is a world-class talent, I don't think the match would have been as good if it had been Andrade versus Ospreay. We would have.
You don't get the story. You don't get the storytelling of this.
We would have had
Andrade.
Yeah, we would have had a great match, but would we have had a match where Ospreay is just furious that he is being put in the ring with somebody like Orange Cassidy, and Orange Cassidy is just like, I got my hands in my pockets. It's just it wouldn't have happened, and so we probably would have gotten a tablet guy showing up and getting into a fight with Aussie Open. We would have had two heels in a match against each other that would have had such a more difficult of a build. This was really well done from everybody involved. The only thing I was upset about, because I give this one 4 3/4 as well. The only thing I was upset about was I really wanted to see Pip Pip Cheerio live. I really just wanted to see him hit that live. Now, the post match. Yesterday in the live stream, I said that there were the three biggest tied for 4 biggest pops of the night. First is when Orange kicks out of the Hidden Blade. The second is when
and you would think that this crowd, this is a US crowd, you would think they don't know they don't know all the guys' songs, but they knew that first riff. They were on their feet.
And what was beautiful about it was the beatdown was happening, and in the back of your mind, everybody's, you're thinking to yourself, wait a minute, can Roppongi Vice really run out here to make the save? They just were in this tag. Who's going to save this guy? So it just so happened that there was enough of a lull in the crowd noise that the riff hit perfectly, and it just cut over all of that noise, and the place lost its ever-loving mind. Now, I have no idea why Shibata would insert himself into this situation. Like, I don't know. I don't think he has any past with Orange Cassidy. I don't think he really has that much of a past with Will Ospreay in particular. So I don't know why he chose this moment. However, thank God he did, because this was such a beautiful moment. And I think really what this does is it was designed to help look at all the naysayers and be like, this guy who takes this so seriously and believes in wrestling and loves wrestling and has this gravitas about him when it comes to he thinks that Orange Cassidy did a good job. He thinks that Orange Cassidy is an amazing wrestler. And he headbutted a dude so hard as cracked his skull open. So you have no reason to doubt this man and no reason to question Orange Cassidy again. It was an amazing moment, and I hope Shibata keeps those sunglasses because priceless.
It's a good look. It's a good look.
I think I'll read Chase's comment here. Is I know Chicago gets everything, but minus maybe North Carolina or New York. This was the best place to have this show. Those fans love wrestling and are knowledgeable. I think outside of the stream of reviewing the show, I think that what fans from a business perspective need to understand, the pro wrestling fan, the hardcore fans need to understand, is that these shows need to be put in front of fans who are going to react this way, right? Because on television, it's going to come off a certain way, right? It's that Pavlovian effect. If you see that much ruckus on a TV, you're going to want to be a part of it, right? So it's one of those, they have to have it in Chicago. They have to have a show like this in New York. They have to have a show like this in North Carolina, and maybe in other LA specifically, if they can get it in that section of LA where the fans are really that rabid, maybe there specifically. Nowhere else in the country can they have these shows, because on television they won't come off as this rabid, this raucous, and things of that nature. So kudos to Tony Khan, understandably so. Like Chase said, Chicago gets everything. That's Tony's hometown. But if it wasn't for Chicago, if it wasn't for New York, if it wasn't for places like LA and stuff like that, we wouldn't be able to visually understand why this style of wrestling, why these cards are such a big deal, right? So outside of that, for this match, this was the best match of the night for me. I'll say that in front of everything. You guys gave it 4 3/4 stars. I gave this 5 stars for the simple fact that Will Ospreay is the best damn professional wrestler on the planet. That's beyond the shadow of a doubt. Orange Cassidy, I said it to begin the match. I'll say it here as well. Everybody wants to put the gimmick guy shit in front of him. Stop putting that gimmick guy shit in front of him. The dude can work. There's a reason as to why he was so heavily liked and pushed onto the Bucks to sign for AEW. This is one of those reasons, right? Watching Shibata, he's the wrestler at the end of the day, bro. Like, he's the innovator of so much stuff that he's your favorite wrestler's favorite wrestler. Like one of the guys
exactly.
on the put it.
Because I think that like right after or like during the post match, I like came in on your live stream and I heard like Chrissy Love like asking like, who is this? Like, why is everybody so excited? And that's why I had to put the comment. This guy had just had brain surgery 4 years ago. And he just came out looking like the man of old. And I know we saw him at Wrestle Kingdom, but this just felt special because Wrestle Kingdom, like we said, in Japan, they've been doing the clapping and the stomping. You haven't heard that euphoric pop for Shibata yet. And this moment was so much needed on this show.
Oh, okay, my bad. Chase said North California, not North Carolina. My bad, Chase. Northern California, man, like Sacktown and stuff like that. Those guys are freaking rabid. I would love New Japan and AEW to go out there and have a show. But North Carolina as well, man. That's a rabid, very knowledgeable.
They are too,
fan base as well. So don't take that away from them either. But yeah, man, Northern California as well for sure. I didn't get like the hype to express, because I was put on the spot at that point in time. Yo, Jay knows, explain who Shibata is. I can't, when it comes to Shibata, I can't find words, right? Because it's like you have to watch him. There's no words of expression to make you understand who he is, what this man means to the sport, to the company that he belongs to, and things of that nature. If you want to say, yeah, he's the guy who runs the LA dojo, sure. Have you ever watched one of his matches? I would tell you to sit down and watch one of his freaking matches and not squirm, not flinch while you're watching his matches, because they are hard hitting. When I tell you it's hard hitting, it's like, it's not fake wrestling, folks. He's in there to hurt you, and you have to understand this is the match. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
That's what it is. And for the likes of guys like him and Ishii and Shingo Takagi for a lesser part and stuff like that, and obviously Murder Grandpa, Shibata was at the top of that echelon of wrestler, and he still is at the end of the day, right? Kenta stole all of his moves. I'll say that Kenta stole all of his shit.
100%, especially after he attacked him at the end of the G1 in 2019. We got a super chat donation here from EBB. Thank you so much, EBB. Y'all been showing us love in the live chat. We appreciate that. Saying, I love that they went with the New Japan route of leaving the 4 biggest matches for the end. The crowd were fantastic. They never got tired. Yeah, I have to credit Chicago. They never got tired. Even when they got distracted in the main event, they got back into the action that was going on. So I have to give it to them. But I think we all love this Ospreay and Orange Cassidy. Like, this was a euphoric moment, but I am sorry, they kept the euphoria going in this next one that we're about to talk about, because it was time to see who was Zack Sabre Jr.'s mystery opponent, the appointed, handpicked opponent by Bryan Danielson, who was injured and couldn't compete in this matchup. Who was going to be the newest member of the Blackpool Combat Club? We all convinced us that it could only be one man. And that one man it was. It is Claudio Castagnoli with a bopper of a theme song. Oh man, I was like, yes, thinking about bopper of a theme song. Love his entrance theme. Love him coming out in the Blackpool Combat Club. Little fleet going on. He had the moment with the cameraman that everybody thought he was in disguise. And what of ovation, what a pop. The roof came off once again, just few minutes after Shibata put the through, blew the roof off. The roof was inserted back on so Claudio could rip it off once again. And him and Zack Sabre Jr. just had a brilliant technical wrestling clinic. Zack Sabre Jr. is one of my favorite wrestlers in the world. And this man is another man that needs to get more respect as the wrestler of the year. He's had 5-star classes with Shingo, with Ospreay this year, had a fantastic match with Okada for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, and he was a genius, just attacking the arm, attacking the leg of Claudio, led to an awesome, superb spot where Claudio, he had the armbar on Claudio outside the ring. Claudio deadlift him up, walked up the steel steps, and then power bombed him into the ring. The start of the match had Claudio come out with one of his blitz type European uppercuts and hit the neutralizer for a great near fall. Just back and forth, hard hitting stuff, great technical wrestling exchanges, like when I think it was, he had on the arm bar on Claudio and he transitioned that into a sharpshooter. He went for the giant swing, but he couldn't do all the rotations due to the injured arm. Pele kick to the arm sets up a sleeper on Claudio by ZSJ. Back to some hard kicks to the chest, but those just get Claudio tinged up. He hits the pop-up uppercut, and then he pulled out that goddamn Ricola bomb like it was 2006 once again to get the victory in this one. Just a fabulous debut for Claudio Castagnoli, and he got the official "He is all elite" on social media, and he's got a new shirt out as well. This was another, I'm getting it. This is another back-to-back fantastic match of the night candidate in this one. I gave it 4.5 stars. This was just like the storytelling in Ospreay in Orange, I felt was a little bit better, but as far as it's pure wrestling, this was it for me on this night. Jay News, what did you think?
Brother, I said this during the live stream. I'll say it again. Zack Sabre Jr. is the best counter wrestler on the planet. There is nothing he cannot counter. There is nothing that counter won't make you believe. That bicep was hanging on by a thread. You know what I'm saying? It's something else, man. Zachy does the job, bro. He doesn't get the love. I said it during the live stream. A lot of the shit that he gets is because he doesn't look the part. Yeah. Go in there. He'll stretch you out for a couple of parts. Doesn't matter if he looks the part or not. He's tremendous. And Claudio's the fucking man. We've all known this for a long period of time. And for him to come out to such love, such adulation, that pop, and then come out to perform the way that he did is something else. StatKing, take over for me real quick.
Yeah, no worries, man. Because I can talk about this one for a long time. This was so good. My God. Zack is playing the heel so well in this match when it comes to starting to use the yes kicks from Brian and doing the little and then with another one and then slowly ramping it up, and the kicks, you can hear them. There was no need to slap a thigh for those kicks. He was hitting Claudio as hard as he could, and Claudio's just like, I mean, what else do you have? Like, you got something else, buddy? Like, I don't need this arm. I can find a way. This was absolutely incredible, and the crowd was so amped up and ready, like, just to see who it was going to be. A small part of me, and I can understand why somebody might be against this. A small part of me wished that they had done a moment where William Regal walked out and did an actual like introduction to who it was going to be, and then Claudio comes out. But that's like nitpicking, a nitpick among nitpicks. This was an absolutely awesome match, and Zack is saying, I don't care like what you think you're going to do. I'm going to try to find a way to break this man down. It doesn't matter who it is. It does give you kind of a short flashback to the idea of Seth versus Cody at WrestleMania. Seth doesn't know who his opponent's going to be. It turns out to be Cody. How do you find a way to work around the fact that you didn't know who it was? How do you prepare? And Zack's whole thing is, I don't really need to prepare because I can find ways to twist, to manipulate, to get any person's limb in any way I want it to be. That's what I'm gonna do. And when they went to the mat based stuff, my goodness, there's that moment where it's just like he had a hold. I don't even know what exactly the hold would be called, but he's not only stretching Claudio's arm and the shoulder, but he's using his foot to push Claudio's head up and try to get a submission that way. And his ability to just know, okay, hey, this isn't working. Let's transition to the next one. I already know. I'm thinking 3, 4, 5 steps ahead of a person. And Claudio, to his credit, it's a situation where the question is, if you are getting out technically wrestled, you do have to find ways to use the power game. And Claudio is saying, okay, fine. Like, I can't take this to submissions as much as I would like. I can't take this to different moves as much as I'd like. We're going to go for straight power. That's how I'm going to break out of some of these holds. And that power is on display. He's just lifting the man with one arm. He did it again. The second time he used on the outside, he used his left arm for leverage to help him lift ZSJ up. But the first time he did it, when they tumbled to the outside, he did not use his left arm. He only used his right arm. You know, they used to say in WWE, you know, we think Cesaro's pound for pound the strongest on the roster, and it's actually quite true. The way it was just incredible to watch. And he's just walking up the steps, holding another grown man as though he's a child's toy, as though he's like a stuffed teddy bear or something.
He had him overhead.
Yeah.
To myself, you know, to StatKing's point about the WWE always saying, oh yeah, pound for pound, he's one of the most powerful guys in the roster. And it's like, it's one thing to say some shit, but let him display it, for God's sakes, because we don't get to see the display. This was a display. It's for show. It's pro wrestling.
Yeah,
right?
it's the see, and that, you know, it's a great point, because it's the dumb shit in WWE where they're like, you know, Undertaker, the best pure striker in all of WWE. It's like he's just hitting a guy. Like, it's not like it doesn't translate as well. But when you say Claudio Castagnoli could arguably be the strongest person on this roster, and then you see him carry a man with one arm, it's like, well, shit, he just damn well might be. Exactly. And it's you know, it's the classic show don't tell. Mm-hmm. And they showed, even if they were telling, that the showing backed up what the telling was. And I gotta say, it's gonna be and we're gonna get to that, you know, at the end of the show, but it's gonna be interesting to see the presence of Claudio on this roster. And I was saying to the people next to me, with the injuries that they have, and we don't know necessarily the timetable for some of these guys' returns, this is a shot in the arm that AEW really needed, and I'm hoping that they can find a way to take this and run with it.
Yeah, I hope they can, and I hope they utilize him in a major way, because he deserves it. He is one of the most talented professional wrestlers in the world today, and we need more reminders of that, and this match was one of those. But that brings us to our final two matches. First, for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, it was Switchblade Jay White defending against Hangman Adam Page, against Adam Cole and Kazuchika Okada. Another time that this roof of the United Center, which I'm probably going to say they need to reattach after this night, got blown off, was for Okada for his entrance as well as the introduction. Switchblade Jay White got a nice reaction, as did Adam Cole and Hangman Adam Page. And this crowd that you would think, after all the wrestling that they've seen at this point, 10 matches at this point, including the buy-in they had seen at this point, but they were on fire for the beginning of this match is just the combination of stars and the story that was being told with the two Bullet Club douchebags of Jay White and Adam Cole versus the respective heart and soul of New Japan Pro Wrestling and AEW, made for a really good story, a strong story. Like I said, Cole and White teamed up with each other through a lot of this, and it really became like, is Hangman and Okada going to be able to work with each other to counteract this? And they did at times, but at times it always seemed like they were going to go at it, and the crowd was very much invested into their back and forths. We had a bunch of crazy sequences where people were hitting their finishers, countering their finishers. Hangman hit the buckshot on Jay White for a close near fall. Adam Cole hit the lowered the boom. Okada kept going for the Rainmaker. In the end, he looked like he was about to hit the Rainmaker on Adam Cole, but he evaded it. And then in came Switchblade Jay White, who hit the Blade Runner on Okada, and then he pinned Adam Cole in a very strange looking finish because Cole didn't really take the finisher, but he was just out of it. So Jay White retained the matchup in about just over 21 minutes. And then it was revealed after the show that apparently on top of the torn labrum that he had going into this matchup, Adam Cole suffered a concussion in this matchup. So it seems like Adam Cole is another guy who's going to be added to this AEW very long injury list, and he might be out for some time, especially with the concussion. We don't know how long he's going to be out, but it was a very flat and awkward finish to what was an excellent matchup. I gave the match 4 stars, but of course disappointed with how the match ended, because this could have been right up there with Claudio versus Zack, as well as Ospreay versus Orange. StatKing, what did you think?
For starters, I just want to say that the AEW injured reserve list is better than the entire WWE roster. But
might be onto something.
but this was well done. Just the presentation alone, starting off like with Cole, then bringing out Hangman, then Okada, and finally your all of our IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, the Switchblade Jay White, the only man out of this match who did not get the proper respect that he deserved. Everybody was like, you see this guy, oh, we're so happy this guy's, get him the fuck out of here. We want this guy, this is the guy, the catalyst. None of this happens without him. The man who single-handedly sold out Madison Square Garden and the United Center. None of this happens without him. If he doesn't hit that Blade Runner on Kenny Omega, if he doesn't take that IWGP US Championship from Kenny Omega, and this crowd is shitting on this man. Ridiculous. I was offended. I was embarrassed. I was almost disgusted to be living in this city that is putting such disrespect on this man's name after everything he has done and sacrificed for all of us. This man deserved to walk out still champion, and that's what he did, because Jay White is a survivor. Jay White knows how to play the game, and the only mistake he made was thinking he could trust that son of a bitch Adam Cole. What the fuck? And then Adam Cole does the
bastard Adam Cole.
But man, this told an amazing story. You are absolutely correct. The two heart and souls of AEW, of New Japan, up against these just pure asshole-ish guys in Jay White, in Adam Cole. And this was a great moment, because I thought that we were going to have the turn where Cole tries to pin somebody, and then Jay's like, wait a minute, what do you think you're doing, buddy? Like, this is my title. It's not your title. Get out of here. And they instead went with, which would have been kind of the stereotypical thing to do, but here they go with the conversation between the two of them. Jay's thinking he can actually trust Cole for some reason, and Cole hits him with that backstabber. Originally, it looked as though Cole injured or re-injured that shoulder when Okada came down with the elbow drop. So a part of me realized that, we all were like, something's going on here when he just randomly pins Cole for no reason without, any kind of move being involved. But then right after Jay pinned Cole, he walked over to the ref and he was whispering in his ear. And that's when I was like, okay, something is actually up with Cole. There is some kind of serious injury going on here, because there's no reason why Cole's like just going to let himself be pinned unless he actually physically could not do the pin. And maybe it was a situation where Jay knew that and said, let's not risk this guy getting injured further or anything, worse happening. Let's just get out of here. I know I can, in a shooter style wrestling sense, I know I can force a pin if I need to. I don't know if Okada is gonna, give me the pin, because Okada may not understand what's going on. But Adam Page had a.
Well, I think Adam Cole was always going to take the pin. I said that was Okada under no circumstances, and I said this in the chat to everybody. Under no circumstances, Okada should have took the fall in this one.
Yeah.
So even if it wasn't audible, you pin the guy you're supposed to pin. Even
right. No. The reason why I'm saying is because I don't know if Okada would have been able to understand, we gotta rush to the finish or whatever the case may be. Just from that sense, I know I agree with you completely. He's not taking the pin, but this match.
I think Okada had to understand something, because I think he was supposed to hit the Rainmaker on Cole.
That's a good point.
But Cole ducked and invaded, but he still, did what he had to do, turn around and take the Blade Runner, and then he was out of it.
So in accordance to what's been said or rumored or whatever the case is, supposedly Adam Cole, it's not a shoulder injury. He might have been concussed during the match or whatever the case is, which then lays to claim to him collapsing during the Rainmaker. He couldn't be on his feet, and so then he was out at the end of the day. So that makes sense. Speedy recovery to Adam Cole. Nobody wants to see any of the guys get hurt at the end of the day. For all intents and purposes, look, man, King Switch was my pick to win this match. He did what he needed to do in order to win this match, and he's the like StatKing was saying, man, he's the catalyst. He's the catalyst of professional wrestling. Without Jay White, none of this can happen. To the media scrum comment in the chat,
that was hilarious.
Jay White is one of the most prolific post-match wrestlers of all time.
He is. You
can't trip him up. You cannot trip this guy up
all time. He's like, we can't get anybody to put the belt up. Like
the best part of it is that they asked him the question about who is the actual Bullet Club leader, and he managed to twist it into who's the best Bullet Club leader ever. Like, you cannot trip this guy up whatsoever. Like, I don't think anybody could just go. Like, I've tried at a meet and greet. I tried to figure out a way to ask him a question that could get, throw him off his game, and he just smoothly answered it like he expected this question 3 weeks ago when he woke up in New Zealand or Japan or wherever the fuck he was 3 weeks ago. It's impossible to get this guy on a question.
I think what needs to be understood here, right, is because the New Japan style of post-match comments is like a regular sporting event or whatever the case is. Yeah. So Jay White treats it that way all the time. So he was in character in the scrum. Tony's never in character. Most of the AEW people aren't in character. They're just doing interviews post match. No, Jay White stays the catalyst all the time, and he made it what it was. Okada showed out. Okada's Okada. The Rainmaker is the Rainmaker. I say this without description.
How we all feel towards Okada.
Tony represents all of us. Thanking Okada for prioritizing Forbidden Door over his wife's birthday.
Jesus. I'll say, look, sometimes I'm not too descriptive, but like, you have to watch it to understand it and to know it. Sometimes the descriptions just don't do you any service. And I don't want to forget anybody in this match. I mentioned Jay White. I mentioned Okada. Adam Cole did his thing before the concussion was playing.
Hangman Page was great.
Hangman Page was on fire the entire match. I want to be able to make people understand that, yes, has he been the best character on AEW? Probably not. But every match he's had as AEW champion, none of them disappointed. None of them. That man goes out there with his hair on fire every time because he knows he can't disappoint when he goes out there.
Yeah.
And he never does in that ring. And got to give Hangman Adam Page his freaking flowers, man, because he deserves it every freaking time. Very good match. 4 stars for me when it comes to this Fatal 4-Way match. I knew the King Switch couldn't lose his belt. He just won it at the end of the day. So, he couldn't lose his belt. So
I've never been that like huge of an Adam Page fan, but I will say I agree with you completely. Once he got the title, he knew he had to turn it up and deliver every single time, especially because the character that he's with right now, or that he's using right now, doesn't lend itself to the greatest of promos all the time. It's hard. It's supposed to be harder for him to communicate with the audience. And so the idea is that he's supposed to be communicating through the matches themselves. And him understanding that and knowing that he has to do that means that he knows he has to be better and better every single match. So all four guys delivered in this one. Well, no, what I was going to say earlier about the going to the finish was that based off of what time the pay-per-view ended, I felt as though this match was supposed to have another 5, maybe 8 more minutes.
Yeah.
And they kind of, and that's when Jay was just like, it's easier just to get us to where we need to go. I don't want to risk this guy getting injured, because I don't think, Okada didn't actually hit a single Rainmaker during the entire match.
All 4 of them.
Yeah.
He missed all 4. So.
And they were building towards the moment when he actually connects.
Yeah. So then when he connected, Jay White can come in, hit the Blade Runner, get the pin on the guy, because no one kicks out of the Rainmaker. And then that would have been it.
Exactly. But yeah, it's disappointing, the ending, but we all, of course, wish that hope that Adam Cole has a speedy recovery from his, if it is confirmed to be a concussion, as well as his torn labrum that he's been dealing with in the weeks leading up to this matchup. But of course, it was time for the main event for the interim AEW World Championship. Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Jon Moxley. Moxley had a great entrance coming through the Bulls Tunnel with William Regal out through the crowd. Tanahashi got a huge reception from this crowd, and they went out there despite, people getting distracted with a fight in the crowd during the early portion of this matchup. This felt like an old school type Tanahashi main event that it was so well paced, and it built and it built and it built. Tanahashi hits a sling blade late, which cuts Moxley open somehow because he's Jon Moxley and he can just leak from anywhere. He followed up with the high fly flow from the top rope to the floor on Moxley. Tanahashi headbutted Moxley late. He hits a high cross body and the high fly flow connects, but Moxley kicks out at 2 and pulls out the bulldog choke. Tanahashi is able to break out of that and then into the King Kong lariat, but he kicks out of 1 to a huge reception from this crowd. Moxley started hammering him down with the hammer and anvil elbows set up for the rear naked choke, but Tanahashi once again fights out of it with the crowd behind him. The crowd really sounded like they wanted Tanahashi to win this one. Moxley shifted into the bulldog choke, and then eventually when both men get to their feet, he hits the paradigm shift Death Rider variant for the win in just over 18 minutes. This was just 2 guys going at it and beating the absolute fire out of each other, and Tanahashi just kept coming back until Moxley was able to put the death nail in him. Both men looked like they were just going to show respect to end our show, but it's AEW and we need a post show. We need a end of show melee to hype up Blood and Guts. The Jericho Appreciation Society, Jericho and Garcia come out and attack Tata and Moxley. This leads to Wheeler Yuta, Santana and Ortiz, and Eddie Kingston coming out. The rest of JAS comes out, and then finally Cesaro, Claudio Castagnoli comes out, and he runs fire, hits all the European uppercuts on everyone around, and of course at the end though, he went face to face with the man who we all knew would not be happy to see him, Eddie Kingston. And while all the baby faces are in the ring celebrating, and after fighting off JAS. Kingston says "fuck you" to Claudio, and we end the show with the baby faces, the Puerto Rican Combat Club in the ring after. I don't think the post match was entirely necessary. I think this would have been better off with what the fans were able to see after the show, with Tanahashi and Moxley showing respect to each other, to make it seem like this was a great main event, which it was. I gave the main event 4.5 stars. This was another great matchup on this match, but I felt like the post-match brawl was not really necessary. What about you, James?
Yeah. Match was great. That post-match took me out of it. Worst moment of the entire pay-per-view. It was ill-timed. It was ill-conceived. I understand you got to build up blood and guts. You guys have great video montage people. Y'all could have just done the Road to stuff and it would have been fine. But you did this after the main event. You could have probably put this after the Claudio match to get it even more involved and then had that happen. But to end the show this way, it was Nitro in 99 all over again. I don't need that. Chase, completely correct. Vintage Tanahashi. He made you feel. He made you understand. He was in a world of hurt and he was about to choke out. But no. Tana didn't tap. Tana didn't give in. Tana wasn't the one who was going to say, I quit. No, Tanahashi was going to pull you in to make sure you believed he still had a chance. And at the end of it all, the one and only Jon Moxley took it upon himself, wearing the crimson mask, to say, I'm the interim champ. I'm the one who belongs at the top of the AEW food chain. And he's there now. Big ups to Jon Moxley for doing everything that he's doing behind the scenes to be able to make sure that he's in the ring and staying clean. You know what I'm saying? But this was a good match, solid 4-star match for me here between these two gentlemen. Tanahashi bangs out about 2 or 3 of these a year. Me and Sid have had this conversation.
He does.
So it was great that he took one out here during this match. Yeah, man. Look, not the finish of the match, but the post match stuff was unnecessary. I agree with SP3. It was unnecessary. We didn't need it there, to be honest. But yeah, it happened or whatever. We're still gonna be. I'm still wondering what the actual rift or the beef is between Eddie and Claudio in real life. I don't know what that's about.
It goes back to their time in the Indies.
It goes back to their feud in Chikara.
Yeah,
Chikara, they had this best of 3 series. To give some background for anyone who is also confused, they had a best of 3 series where both guys were kind of like baby faces, except I think Kingston was more of like a tweener / heel throughout their feud there, and Claudio won the third matchup, and then later on in the show, basically this is when they created this big stable in Chikara for the first time, and Claudio turned heel, and this was basically a double turn where Kingston became the babyface, Claudio became the heel, and they had this bitter rivalry where every time Kingston would get close to winning the championship, Claudio and his group would get involved, and then they eventually had this big one-on-one matchup a year later after their third match in their series, which Claudio won, and everybody thought, okay, they're going to continue this feud, and then Claudio's going to win the Chikara title, and then that's when Kingston's going to beat him, and then Claudio went to WWE. So basically, it's unfinished business in Kingston. He still has that grudge because they never were able to complete their feud.
Yeah. This is, and the only reason why I understood that it happened is because you have to remind people that Eddie and Claudio don't like each other, because that's what's going to cost them the win.
Sure.
On Wednesday. That's the only I'm like, all right, okay, I get it.
I get all that. I just feel like they could have been done video package wise. I don't think they needed to do the melee shit again to finish another show. Another beatdown. And it's guys, I think somebody in the chat said it. You should have left the show off with Mox and Tana showing respect to one another, freaking confetti and streamers falling down or whatever the case is. It was a great show. would have been the best way to cap it off. And then if you wanted to flood the internet and everybody's streams and feeds with what's going on with Blood and Guts a couple of minutes later and stuff like that, show some backstage footage, some interaction and beef between Eddie Kingston and Claudio Castagnoli not getting along or whatever to create.
I would have started. What I would have done is I would have had that melee and all that kind of stuff happen after the pay-per-view ends, and I would have shown that at the beginning of Dynamite.
Right. Bingo.
That's be like, this literally happened a couple, like, it's going to leak to the internet, whatever. Yeah. But then you show it on TV right after or right before Dynamite, as Dynamite is starting. The only thing
they gotta pack 101 things into Dynamite, so they're not gonna have time for that.
The only thing that, so I gave this match a 4 1/4. What pulled me out of this match is that I see Jon take the sling blade.
Mm-hmm.
I can see Jon roll to the outside.
Oh, okay.
I can see Jon crawl to the corner, and I can see him making a little bit of a motion. And I'm thinking to myself, there's no way this motherfucker is going to start bleeding off of a sling blade, is he? And then I'm like...
He thought it was a literal blade. The sling blade was a literal blade.
But what was funny about it was, like, there actually was a separation, but he didn't go actually fully under the ring. So even the people on hard cam side who were looking at him could see him do this, like, could see him gig himself. And I'm like, God damn it, Jon.
During the live stream, when it happened and he came up with the blood, I was like, where the fuck the blood come from? He just took a sling blade.
No, but the funniest part of this
he couldn't do like a shot into the ring post or something.
Yeah. The funniest part of this is as the match is starting, I dead ass look at Colleen and I'm like, nobody has bled on the show.
No.
And she's like, yeah, that's a good point. I'm like, Moxley's probably going to bleed at some point during this match. And she goes, you don't think he's actually going to do that? I'm like, he damn well is. And sure enough, but like, if like you're saying, if it had gone to a ring post, great.
Yeah.
Awesome. 100%. I'm cool with it. But like, it doesn't even touch your head. Like, it's like, blade doesn't touch your forehead.
What you hit the back of your head more than your front of your head.
And then the other funny part was that from my vantage point, I couldn't see what started the fight, but I could see security pulling the people out of the arena, and it was just really funny because they pulled 2 guys out of the crowd because they were getting into some kind of altercation. But one guy thought it would be really, really smart to try to fight all 5 security guards that were trying to pull him out.
Wow.
And he did not have the same level of success that Wardlow had against 20 people at the same time.
he thought he was in Wardlow's world and not reality.
That's not how that one's gonna work. But to the credit, and this is similar to Rosa and Tony Storm, the crowd was out of it. They pulled it back in. To the credit of Moxley and Tanahashi, they realized that something's going on with the crowd. Jon can see it when he's playing to hard cam. He can see it out of the corner of his eye, and he was smart enough to know, okay, we gotta do something. We gotta get this crowd back in, and they absolutely did, because nobody can sell submissions like Tanahashi.
Right.
And so many people were like, when he was getting choked out, there were people around me who were just like, no, it's not going to end like this. Not in a referee decision. No, like, people are actually like starting to get really upset. And I'm sitting there like, you guys have not seen this man before. Like, what do you?
He had everybody fooled.
I'm like, his arm's already up in the air. If they're not going to do the arm thing, like, he's going to power out of this. And sure enough, Tanahashi just slowly but surely, that fighting spirit unleashed, drags himself from the dregs of unconsciousness and pulls himself back into this match. It was really incredible to see. And I had just on, I think it was Friday during the day, while I was working, I had the Moxley interview with Renee just playing in the background, and to hear the struggles that Moxley had gone through over the past year with dealing with his addiction to alcohol and how he overcame it. And then she asked him, towards the end of the interview, it shifted into, what does Forbidden Door mean to you? What does this match specifically with Tanahashi mean to you? And the way he talked about it, you could see it in this match, how much this meant to him. Not just the fact that it's the main event, but just the fact that it's Tanahashi, and this is who he has wanted to face for 3 years. And Tony kept cockblocking him, and now he can finally have this match, and it was so great. It was just a great moment to watch. And one thing I do want to add is that after the pay-per-view ends, after they do all that kind of stuff, he's doing his post-match, promo, and bro, he was fucking out of it. Moxley was absolutely out. Like it felt, I don't know if it was real or wasn't real, but if it wasn't real, he was selling the crap out of this match. And he was just, he even was like, I'm pretty sure I'm concussed. I'm pretty sure I'm concussed. Yeah.
He said that in the post-show scrum.
It was,
as well.
It was just a phenomenal moment.
I think that, I feel like a lot of the time we come out of watching these shows and it's like, this shit was great. It was fantastic. This, that, and the third. And it's like, and then we forget the toll it takes on some of these guys, right? And it's like, bro, you're concussed and you busted yourself open. So you leaked out while you have a brain injury. Like, that's a double whammy. So, of course, like to StatKing's point, it's like, of course he was out of it. At the end of the day, nothing made sense.
And and look, this is just me fantasy booking because I would love to see this, but both times, and I was talking about this in the car ride home before we put the scrum on, but both times this man won the title, he won it in Chicago. And the guy he has to face to unify the titles is Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And if
hopefully they bring that up in promo.
Yes, and if 2 weeks ago you have surgery on a foot, All Out isn't until September 4th. You have just about 2.5, almost 3 months to maybe be able to rehab. If they are able to have this match in Chicago, Punk versus Moxley, and they bring up, and all Moxley has to do is say some shit like, how can this city be yours? I won this title twice in your city, right, and you weren't even there to try to stop it.
You couldn't even defend it, and the last time you were in your city, you lost twice. We got a question here from Then It's Gone before we get into our match of the night, MVP, LVP. Last call for Super Chat donations. If you have a question, definitely get those in with the Super Chat donations. That's the best way possible. And It's Gone says, next one has to be in Japan. Do you agree, J News?
Yeah, for sure. Without question.
Chicago gets everything. What do you guys say?
Yeah, Chicago gets everything. I think that it being in Japan, depending as to whatever time of the year it could be, that's up for debate or whatever. But yeah. I mean, if they do the Forbidden Door thing instead of doing the New Year's Dash show, I wouldn't mind that, to be honest.
That would be cool.
Wrestle Kingdom. So that I think that'll be a great way to do it. But yeah, definitely, because we need to watch a Forbidden Door show with New Japan production. We need to watch that. So that's where I'm at with that.
Yeah, low-key a feud of the night is Justin Roberts feuding with the New Japan announcer as to who can
that New Japan announcer, somebody said it in the live chat, that New Japan announcer went out of his way for that IWGP matchup as well as the main event. He was like, I'm gonna beat you on this one. No, I let you shine the whole night. And Kevin Kelly was fantastic on commentary the whole entire show. He was one of the better additions from New Japan that I would love to see long term in AEW. But let's put our thumbs in the middle, fellas, for AEW New Japan Pro Wrestling Forbidden Door. 3, 2, 1. I think this is the unanimous. Yeah, unanimous.
Orange it up.
Thumbs up. J News, out of 10, what did you give the show?
9.5.
StatKing?
I'm gonna agree with him. 9.5.
Yeah.
I went 9 out of 10, so I'm right there with you guys. Let us know in the live chat what you gave the show out of 10. We thumbs up, thumbs down. Match of the night, MVP, LVP, Super Chat donation. Last call for that. MVP of the show, StatKing.
Orange Cassidy.
Okay,
that's fair. That's
Orange
fair.
Cassidy.
That's fair.
J News.
Oh man. Shoot, bro, to be honest, if and this is just me being a New Japan guy and whatnot. It's a tie. It's Shooter and Clark Connors for me because they stood out. Because they stood out. Because to me, the point of the show was to make these guys stand out, and they did it. And they were able to accomplish that. And I'm super proud of those, especially the younger dudes, because a lot of the time they might feel a lot of pressure, and sometimes you might be your own worst enemy at the end of the day. And these guys, they showed out, and they showed the fans that it was that they're there for business, man. And look, man, me as a dude who's been watching New Japan for decades at this point, to watch the younger guys be able to transition into this scale of a platform, right? And do what they did last night, I thought was incredible, to be honest. So yeah.
My MVP is described in one picture.
There it is.
Claudio Castagnoli is my MVP. I am so happy for this man in a place that loves professional wrestling. He is a professional wrestler, and he's where he belongs. So that's why he gets my MVP. LVP, I'm sorry, J News. I gotta go for your boys, the LA Dojo.
Yeah, man, no, bro. Listen.
LVP.
That was if you were gonna ask me who the LVP of the show was, I'm agreeing with you. The LA Dojo boys, my boys, the Shibata's boys, they're the losers, man. It's tough, bro, because it's like, how do you book a match like that and make them look that bad? Like, I get it, they're young lions, this, that, and the third, but it's like, I watched all of 2020 with Yuya Uemura's Young Lions guys taking that Young Lion class to another level, and it was 3 of them. It was Yuya, it was Yota Tsuji, and it was Gabriel Kidd. Those 3 dudes on their own took that Young Lion class to another level. And to see what the LA Dojo was able to not do on the Forbidden Door level, it was a complete letdown. So yeah, LVP for me, I'm with SB3 here. LA Dojo boys, no bueno.
StatKing.
I'm gonna agree with you guys just because I can't think of an LVP on the main card. I think everybody.
Yeah, that's really also it. Like, I can't give LVP to anybody. Like, the best that could go is maybe Adam Cole, but knowing that he got the injury, I definitely can't give it to him. So yeah, it's got to be the LA Dojo boys because they lost in a 2-on-4 handicap match to Mr. Ass. But match of the night, it's so close. I think I wouldn't be mad at anyone who gave it to the All Atlantic 4-way or the main event with Tada and Moxley, or even if you gave it to Claudio versus Zack Sabre Jr. because that was a technical wrestling clinic. But my match of the night was Will Ospreay versus Orange Cassidy. Just great storytelling, fantastic action that delivered. J News.
Ditto.
Same.
Unanimous. It's unanimous there. So thank you, guys, everyone, for joining us. Great choices in the live chat. We appreciate everyone who is joining us live. Remember to drop the thumbs up on this video, share it with your friends, subscribe if you are new to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel. If you're watching us over on Twitch, follow over there for exclusive content like my boy StatKing with Rampage Ramp Up with True Jaw Josh every single weekend. Check it all out. J News, let the people know where they can find you on social media and what you got going on with True Hill Heat.
The Instagrams is always where you can find me, sort of underscore JONJY on Instagram. Coming up, ladies and gentlemen, I need y'all to understand. I work and I'm on the grind 24/7 outside of what we do here at True Hill Heat. I'm just a hardworking man. But the G1s are coming. And that is going to be quite the tough stretch. But I will be here day one, night to night, giving you what you need. These results, some analysis, and letting you know what the interweaving storylines are going to be. The G1 is the most, if not the most important tournament in pro wrestling throughout the year. So it needs to be covered with a good eye. As it's coming up soon. So you'll be seeing me do that. Whatever other New Japan friendly shows are coming up, you'll be seeing me cover that as well, outside of just the G1 stuff. Yeah. Looking forward to all that stuff. So just trying to get prepared and for it. Give myself about a week or two's rest before the G1 starts. And
but check out patreon.com/True Hill Heat, $3 a month for exclusive content like our New Japan Pro Wrestling content. We might be dropping the G1 Climax preview here on the channel, so that should be dropping before the tournament is underway on July 16th, correct?
Correct, yes.
So I'm getting my dates right. It's that King. Let the people know where they can find you, sir.
As always, you can catch me, like Sid said, on the Rampage wrap-up with True Draw Josh covering Rampage. You can also catch me on Dark Power covering AEW Dark, Elevation, and NWA Power. We finally, with this post-media scrum, got some Ring of Honor news. So Fusion of Honor will be making its return for Death Before Dishonor. July 23rd is the pay-per-view. So sometime that week, we will be doing a review, and sometime before that show, we will probably be doing a preview as we find out more about the matches for the show. But also, guys, consider joining or subscribing to our new channel, THH Sports, where we will be covering basketball, baseball, and football. You'll be seeing a lot of the same faces and names that you guys have grown accustomed to love here on the THH main channel.
Wait a minute. They just dropped a bomb on me right now. THH Sports? What is this?
Indeed.
Yes, sir.
Indeed.
Yes, sir.
Subscribe over there. Subscribe over there.
All the same great characters, personalities interacting with one another. We're all going to be there on the channel talking about basketball, baseball, and football. I am a fan of basketball, but I mainly only watch for the playoffs. So if you are somebody who is relatively new to basketball or dipping your toes in, you can join me as I join our guys learning more about basketball. And Sid gets to, make fun of me because I've been told that I have to be a Portland Trailblazers fan. So he gets to make some jokes about me because of the old Los Angeles Lakers. So
I guess I'll put this pitch out there because I don't know who the man is in charge of all this stuff. So
this guy.
All right. So at the end of the day, I'm a baseball guy. Been a baseball lifer my entire life.
There we go.
I won't mention where I work currently. So
it's okay. Come on board. We need baseball personnel.
We do, yes,
Josh,
absolutely.
We got Romeo, but we would love to have you as well.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm putting my hat in the proverbial closet in there for the THA Sports.
Absolutely.
Awesome. See how that goes.
You can follow me on the Twitter machine at TrueHillSP3. I'll be back on YouTube at 8 p.m. UK, 3 p.m. Eastern time over on the ITR Clips channel, Inside the Ropes Clips channel with Alex McCarthy and Sat Niyangi talking more about Forbidden Door, talking about Kane being a douchebag and not and yeah, I just don't like Kane. I don't like Booker T sometimes. So yeah, it's all good time. Check it out. ITR Clips, Monday Night Live with Sad E and Alex McCarty, the Daddy section. And of course, follow the gang, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at True Hill Heat. And if you want True Hill Heat merchandise, ProWrestlingTees.com/True Heels. Thank you so much to everyone who was joining us live in the live chat. You guys have been awesome. Thank you so much to J News, to the Stat King. It is me, your True Hill Phenom, SP3. This has been our AEW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Forbidden Door Roundtable review. We are signing off until next time.